hello, and welcome to Jarviskjir Mind Over Matter. A little late, but it's okay. It's still good. Every other show on Twitch can be live late. Why am I suddenly in the dark? I was perfectly lit when I set up. Okay, sure. Hello. Welcome to another Jarviskjir D&D experience. If you don't know, it's a D&D 5e homebrew system. I do a whole lot of rules for it, and these lovely people are here to tell some stories.
I'm mainly here to get lore dumps.
Yes. Yeah, someone on like Reddit was like, "Oh, how do I get people invested in the ones? How do I stop? You know, what was it? How do I know how much information I should give them?" It's like, if you just need to have characters, like characters that want all the information in the world, because then you don't feel bad. I have no issue. It's not even Ian. It's like all of Ian's characters recently have been like also been lore nerds.
Yeah.
So it doubles up.
I've made a slew of high intelligence characters recently.
For a change.
Yeah.
Well, we are about to enter the Shadow Realm. The end of last session, you got spirited away to the realm of shadows, the Uhaga, discovering that things are a little bit different on this side of the primordial train tracks. Feelings.
You came to the wrong neighborhood.
Yep. And then, just like someone in the wrong neighborhood, you immediately beat up the first person you saw.
No.
Which was a conglomeration of lost and faded souls, because this is the realm where the lost dead go after they die. And you have already sort of met with some of that. But you do have with you Freesmolder, who is from this realm. And the castle that their people live within, right the fuck there, right in front of you, barely visible, with the kind of embers above. So, if you actually remember, the end of the last session, you were about to be swarmed by a pack of giant bats.
Yeah.
Were we? Oh.
I always knew how I would die.
So this is very much going to be a start the session roll initiative banger. So let's get to it. You are going to be in the far right corner. We are about to get physical or magical, considering there are two primary spellcasters.
That would have been better. That would have been a better one.
Yeah. I mean, you keep trying to get physical with Oshun, but it doesn't really work. And if you want to get physical with Oshun, you should definitely check out the Patreon. For a certain amount of Patreon dollars a month, I'm progressively drawing Oshun's love life. So
I hate to say it, but I think I rolled initiative on my torch.
Torch flies out of your hand. It goes...
You did. You did roll initiative on your torch.
God. Please keep that. Please keep it.
No, that's gonna be confusing.
I like clicked on my character token, rolled initiative, and then saw that like the little box was like three quarters of my token. I was like, I clicked the torch, didn't I? Damn it!
Ah, there I am. Why is it so hard to find such a big lady?
Quill has the same question all the time.
Yeah, every day.
It's like half your tweets.
Yeah, pretty much.
There are a lot of tweets you do that I'm like, I can't retweet that. My mum follows my Twitter.
You need a secret horny jail.
Do you know how many people, do that on Twitter? Like, most people.
Let's do the podcast. Anyway.
The Jarviskjir After Dark is a Patreon reward. You want that to exist, you gotta pay me. And they ain't been paying.
Well,
why are you so scared of bats? What's wrong? They're just
Committed.
They're just little
you
bats.
They just moved like across my light.
As
I can
bats
see
do.
them just about. Yeah, exactly.
As bats do.
I don't need bat realism.
It's a very realistic, immersive world with no silliness.
Bat out of Fel.
Bat out of Fel. That's a good.
There we go. The session's over. We can't top that.
Not ending now after all I've been
You're
through
winning
to set this
comment.
one up.
What
Alrighty.
does Ashley win?
As I described before, in the Shadow Realm, light travels not less, it's just only at its strongest can you even see anything in the light. The rest is just inky blackness, not complete darkness where you can't see anything. You can kind of see the shifting and moving, but you can just catch, you know, the glint on the wings of the bats. And for each model, you're much more, you know, kind of attuned to this, and you still have the dark vision as well. And your dark visions allow you to see quite well. You also can hear a swarm of giant bats flying
Blitz.
to your giant sickle blitz.
Blast!
You're being attacked by bats. They're flying at you now. There you go. You know, why do we even try? Why don't we even try? One day I'm going to make a PC called Jonathan, and you're going to be like, hey, Blonathan, and then it's all going to fall apart.
What makes you assume we wouldn't be doing that now? Like, why would it be?
You're
any
trying.
better?
Honestly, these guys have enough movement. They're getting up onto you.
Ah!
Suddenly back.
Nasty. What's that thing from over the garden wall? You have beautiful eyes.
More bats. Bats from everywhere. Bats from all directions.
You are surrounded
Oh my God, there's a lot of
entirely
bats.
by a swarm of bats. They are, you know, you can feel the wind buffeting around you as they're sort of circling, shifting, moving, clicking, shrieking, yipping.
Yep. Okay.
Such stressful music. I should listen to this music when I go for a jog.
As Charlotte's just going to reach out at this this bat in front of them and is going to attempt to nom. Ollie, are you muted?
Why am I muted? I never pressed the mute button. Like,
Oh,
it's gonna
It just
be.
like surprise you.
they're there. They're there.
I don't want head. I want head pats. That is a hit. And even though these are bats from the Fel realm, they are not immune to necrotic damage.
Does blood draw work on them?
Yeah. Blood draw works on nearly everything.
Fair enough. Just
How
figured I'd
does the
double
bat
check.
feel? Because I assume they're vampire bats. How does the vampire bat feel about having its blood
Yeah.
draw?
Blood draw. It's a bat. It doesn't feel anything. Other than hatred and punk attitude.
Like real bats.
But no, these aren't like giant vampire bats. They're almost something very, you know, different. Being from the Fel realm, they aren't directly, because all of you would have seen giant bats before. I mean, I say all of you. You two from the mortal plane have seen giant bats before. These are different and weird and foul, but not super weird. They're still bats. Free Smolder, you are
Okay,
surrounded by bats.
I am indeed. Okay, I'm gonna risk. Okay, I'm gonna risk the attack of opportunity and move here. Oh, no, it's still within thingy. Okay, I move here. Okay, yeah. There we go.
You wouldn't have been within attack range on there. They can't attack you on the corners.
Okay.
And they miss the one you're backing away from. Kind of like, it's like flying at you, and as you step away is when it kind of like clashes into the ground, like as if it was about to sort of swipe you up with its wings.
I never liked these things. And I will pull out the arcane cannon and fire a shot at that one that just tried to hit me. Let's go. Come on.
Oh, no.
Are you?
The arcane cannon does not like being back in Uhaga.
Arcane
not.
Cannon does not like you at all, in general. Yes, that is a resounding misfire. There is a loud, thunderous sound of magic, but no, nothing else bad happens.
It draws more bats.
It could.
No, please, no.
Every bat in a
Yeah, that'd be
tri-state
magic.
area knows where you are. Ocean!
If you look at their noses, they look like angry small things.
The noses.
The teeth are like little arms. Anyway, spirit guardians.
Yeah, I can see it. It's like a little guy.
There's a little dude.
Little Angie.
Turns out these are mechs. Oh, we're doing
I
Spirit
don't
Guardians.
put anyway spirit guardians. It's Ocean's version of anyway. Here's Wonderwall.
I want the tiny spiders to just pour out of everywhere, just like let there be spiders. I want them to parachute from my hair with their little silk things that baby spiders do.
What is your spell save DC at the moment? And what is that, Wisdom?
Well, just do it on spells. Just scroll up. I think it's 13. Yes,
Yes.
13.
It's actually higher than that.
No.
No, that's a good thing.
Ah.
Your DC is higher than that. You're wearing a magic
Did I get
ring.
27?
No.
You haven't worked out exactly what that ring does, but it is bolstering your magic.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, cool.
I need to make a note of that somewhere.
Well, it's not been properly identified, so you don't know exactly how much better. But it is enough that 2 of the 3 bats will fail. So roll your Spirit Guardian's damage.
You need to roll spirit guardians damage 3 times.
Oh, did I have this discussion with you before where we were like, oh, it doesn't quite make sense to be radiant or necrotic and with your Spirit Guardians. And I propose that the damage you deal be force damage instead,
Ah.
which is kind of completely neutral. Unless you still
Yeah.
want it to do radiant. But, you know, you're kind of an in-betweeny.
Yeah,
Okay.
have a thonk. I'll thonk on it.
For now, we'll consider it radiant, which doesn't
Spell
matter too much.
Spells.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you can kind of even see, because everything's so much darker, you can see the amber ring on your finger glowing as you're summoning all these spiders, and they are, you know, leaping onto the bats. You're like an aircraft carrier at this point. It's
Oh, I want
Interesting.
to hold out my hand with the amber ring and have loads of spiders pour down and then leap off like with little parachutes.
a shoal. No, bats. The bats haven't bit you yet. Attack against Oshun is a miss.
No.
Attack
yeah.
against... It's gonna still be Oshun.
No.
It's a miss.
Yay.
Attack against Free Smolder is a hit.
Ah,
I'm sorry.
It's gonna
I'm
be
being
5
punished.
piercing damage as the, you know, bat just kind of gets like a grazing chonk on you. And then attack against Ashal is a
Hackle.
hit.
Cackle.
Ooh, yeah, no, it's a giant
How
bat.
charismatic is a
It's
bat?
not. It's a giant bat. It's
They do stand up every Thursday.
at first I was like, what, on their back legs? It fails. And then with the 6, it mega fails. It's
Excellent.
maybe your magic is more empowered in this place. Maybe the bat's just spooked. Who knows? Now it's a shawl.
Okie dokie. No, I am not going to accidentally move the torch. How do I play this?
You'd be the first to not do it.
it.
I'm Torchy!
Bring honor to his family.
I want to burn!
The world must burn. Then the
Um,
world will belong to Torchy.
I only have a 10-minute lifespan!
I will twin spell Mental Spear the bat that is attacking me and the bat that is attacking Free Smolder.
Intelligence saving throws from the bats. How smart are they? Both fail. Both fail big time. The one that's attacking you that's like cackled, it's almost like being held in the air. It's kind of flapping its wings against the might of your psionic magic before its head ruptures.
Oh, nice.
The one attacking Free Smolder is just more like... like, gets down on the ground for a bit and then pushes back up into the air.
Cool. And I will attempt to blood draw on that, and no. Or at least I'm assuming that's a no.
Nah. Free Smolder.
Alrighty. I take a step back. It's stunned, isn't it, from thingy?
From the... yes, that one is stunned.
Nice. So, attack.
So you
Cool.
can
And
just
then
back
I will-
up.
And then I will fire a shot into its face.
You would
Now
have
this
advantage
time-
against a stunned target, so
Oh.
surely you won't miss.
Yay.
Yeah, that's a hit. And it's a kill.
Nice.
Anything else you
My
want to do?
turn. Nah, that's it.
Just like butt it with the end of your gun. Like,
Rolling fine.
can I instruct my spiders to try and like put it on the ground if it's better for them to be prone for Free Smolder?
That will be an entirely separate spell.
Yeah.
There is a spell that specifically pulls down flying creatures to the ground.
Find, I think.
Yeah, so...
Don't know if
Okay.
Derek's had
Well,
that.
in that case, I will just Word of Radiance.
Because remember, your little spiders are not real.
They're real in my mind.
I know they're real in Ocean's mind, but they don't.
should be
They don't have a
8 damage.
physical weight or anything to
No, that's
them.
my,
So
that's my fault. That should be 8 damage.
ba-ba-ba.
Not 6. Press setting.
it's rolling 2d6.
Yeah, no, it's rolling the right amount, but level 8 Grave Cleric gets potent spellcasting, add wisdom modifier. I thought I'd set it up on the attack.
That's fucking
thing,
bullshit. Why do they get that? They do both fail, so they do both take the damage. This one, in fact, will even go down to the ground. And, you know, I actually said that one's head exploded. Of course, that doesn't happen, because Oshun is nearby. So, while it might have felt like its head exploded, it's actually just asleep. Because the giant bats are not dying due to Oshun's supernatural presence.
Well, that's an interesting question. Because,
You can
like,
turn it off.
I think. I don't know. In this case, I think they might die because I still have to decide whether things living in the dying world die. I think Oshun's confused. You're allowed a head explosion.
There is a head explosion. Congrats. Which means you kill one of the bats.
No!
But the other one just sort of barely survives. And honestly, it is going to start flying away.
Oh, okay.
I like the idea that the bat's head like exploded and then came back together, and then turning, I was like, "Oh, I'm fine." And it just exploded again.
Oh,
Not canon. Do any of you want to take pot shots on the running away bat? It's very injured. It's doing the kind of like awkward flying thing. There is black ichor kind of oozing from pores in its wings.
Ashar will definitely line up a shot. Is Oshun glaring at Ashar as they do this?
Oshun's going to be pondering the meaning of life in a death world.
That takes
if
more than
Oshun-
6 seconds. You can
So
attack.
Shun is doing that. So as Charles actually, like, almost as Charles cocks their head to the side for a moment, almost, and holds their arm out, almost as if they're unsure of something. They hold out the arm that's still, like, got the infernal, like, fire in, and it's sort of the shadows that sort of surround them a little when they're spellcasting sort of almost go up the arm, and, like, the glow underneath it almost pulses harder, like it's being pulled out. And this is the new cantrip I took, and I just figured I'd describe it coolly. And it probably misses.
Well, here's the question. Can you see that bat right now? No.
I don't know.
Give me a roll with disadvantage,
Okay.
which may actually end up hitting when that one was a miss. So...
Oh, shoot, like, is it like a double negative?
And it does hit!
Hey.
There's one of those things you take a pot shot and you can see, and it's, you know, this is very much that that demon fire that you two saw in Abanar. You know, you saw demons summon it, go back into fire, and this hellfire does, and then you just kind of see it burst on the bat, and it kind of on fire falls to the ground with a. And you actually can't hear it because it's the Shadow Realm. Usually you probably would have been able to. Because it's the Shadow Realm, you just kind of see it trail to the ground and land kind of almost silently because you're so far away.
A shawl.
Ian feels bad about that, as Charles just looks at their arm, like, it's sort of impressed that they managed to do that.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah, with that, the bat swarm, I mean, is 4 creatures a swarm? I don't know. Is,
It's an attack.
pacified! That's what we'll say.
Can the dead die? If they're dead and they get killed, are they alive? Do they come alive?
I don't know. Free Smolder, do you know what happens to beings that fall in your realm? Do they simply reform here, or...
Where do the dead go?
Give me a
yes,
religion
yes.
check. You give me a religion check.
And then she gets to 0. It's like, man.
I mean, I almost don't think Free Swaller would know. Actually, yeah. I guess, you know, you are a learned individual. So there's a reason why you live in that city walls is, you know, the outside it, the Fel Roar. It is not entirely accurate to say everything outside the walls is dead. You are not dead. Those bats were probably alive. It's also not really accurate to call fell creatures dead because a lot of them aren't really. A lot of them have internal anatomy doing stuff, and they do things that a living creature would. It's like when people are like, "Are viruses alive?" It kind of raises a bit of an interesting question, but in this case, they're even more alive. If organic beings like you die, your soul has nowhere to go. That is why your people worship the Empress Falumbral, the leader of the Shadow Realm. You have long worshipped her, though some naughty individuals would say that her continued silence is part of the reason why your kingdoms have fallen. Of course, your kingdoms were made in her honor by her command aeons ago as well. So, yeah. Or, like, you are not dead. Like, Free Smolder was not born dead. Free Smolder was born with a soul. When you die, your soul will just kind of get absorbed by this place. Fell creatures, when they die, their soul will probably get their essence will get absorbed back into the realm, much like composting, I guess.
But
yeah, it's essentially magical decomposition because everything that's made up of is now just the magic of death and shadow. So it just returns to the realm. But those bats were probably alive. Because there are a lot of living creatures in this realm too, especially in the Underrealm portion, because the embers keep the dead away.
Does your character relay any of your religion or...
Yeah, I'll base it just that they will return, their essence will return to this place. It'll suffuse itself with the realm.
That's the word I wanted.
suppose in a sense it is a final death then. If you think of the death in the material realm as the death of the material, the corporeal, the physical, then the soul traveling to here or another outer plane, I suppose. Once the soul dies in one of these realms, it returns to magical dust.
Dust to dust.
I suppose it does. I had never considered that.
Ollie, can I ask how Oshun feels being a grave cleric in a death realm?
Give me a wisdom save, because that's a good, like, you kind of, you know, like having a bit of a, like, you're not like, not quite an anxiety attack, maybe a bit of an existential crisis. You're kind of thinking, maybe you meditate a little bit in that moment while these two are talking, and you're like absorbing, you're listening.
Thank God I got a little bit more wisdom. Like,
You definitely feel palpably different. Unlike many clerics, I've said this many times before, Oshun is actually a sorceress. You have power within you. The power comes directly from Varachna, Ivris' realm. And maybe over time, what that power is has changed. You know, every spellcaster changes the power within them. But the power of Ivris within you feels actually kind of stronger in this place. Maybe not, but maybe the shell around that power is actually feeling weaker. It's hard to tell. In a similar way, you can actually feel the fell heat, the fiendish heat from Ashal's arm more here. Not just because Ashal just cast this spell, like it's radiating more. This plane is more connected to the Hells, and Varachna is one of the Hells, essentially. It's kind of an offshoot. If you like drew the planes of Hell, Varachna is like off on the side there. It's easier to reach those kinds of places from here, and it's more physically, you're physically closer in a way, metaphysically, I guess. So you're like your magic from being an ascended is stronger. Spiritually, this is way too much of a personal thing for me to kind of give you a description, but there is more to this realm than just death. It's like how there's more to the material realm than just materials, I guess,
There's
right?
more to England than just tea.
Yeah, there is, because I mean, you're here. There's life. There's free smolders from here. You can see a castle city beyond. You can see the embers. There's more to this place than just death, but I think it's totally up to you what you feel about the animals in this plane, what you feel about Fel Walkers, which are like the shield head, you know, people that have just become nothing but Fel energy because they had not enough ego to survive after death. Like, that's kind of all up to you.
So Ashal would survive after death because his ego is huge.
Essentially, every player character would, and in fact, a couple of player characters have.
Oh.
If someone has not been claimed by an angel or a devil, they end up here. This is essentially the bottom of the barrel. To some would say it's worse a fate than becoming fodder for demons. But a lot of the things that demons do also happen here. Demons deal in souls, Fel deal in souls. But not free smolders people. They don't really typically deal with soul trading. You don't really trade anything. You're like even more reclusive. You're post-Brexit England. It's like, we don't want it.
Fucked, just fucked. I think, including Brexit England, Oshun's going to relay her general thoughts and musings to the group, especially like as an outsider to Free Smolder, like just be like, that's where I'm at right now. I don't know, how do you feel, Ashal?
I feel
Pretty.
the magic that I draw from this plane, it is obviously stronger, and it is interesting that I was able to manipulate the demonic energy within this arm. I used the shadow as a conduit and unleashed it. That was an interesting experience and bears further research.
You don't feel that it is crawling further across you or growing?
Not at this present moment. I am not sure I would be greatly concerned if it did. In fact, I have done research into allowing it to do so. It is just another boon.
We should talk about that later.
But yes, it is. At the moment, at least, I do not feel any great difference. I think our physical shells might begin to decorporealize the longer we remain here. So the magic that we have within us, we are probably better placed than a lot of individuals from the material plane, being such highly magical beings. We are more likely to be able to resist it, but there are limits to such things.
I inspect the baby.
The baby is still kind of upset. In that kind of, they are a baby, they don't know what's happening, something is happening, I am distressed. If they could cry, they would cry, but again, they're not really a crier yet. So, mild distress, although, doing that kind of, I sense the energies within me, you can also kind of feel that glow within the gift, within the child. You know, the demigod side of this child is glowing stronger. Which before you didn't really even feel, other than like, oh, so maybe some jokes. No, you are starting to palpably feel the power within this baby.
Powerful baby. Yeah, Oshun's giving some thought to maybe taking a small trek to see if they can get to Ivrith's realm. Sounds like a bad idea, but
Do
it
you
also
mention
sounds
that?
like something. Well, yeah, in the musings,
Yeah.
she's definitely mentioned like, well, we're close. I mean, we're in the neighborhood. We might as well swing by, get a glass of milk.
You're not in the neighborhood, you're in the right shipping
City
lane.
over.
No, not
Yes.
even. Like,
Aw.
you before you were, you know, it is easier to reach, but there's still no,
Eurotunnel away.
yeah.
It would. I am somewhat versed in the magics of summoning and moving between realms from the material realm. I was able to gain some notes on that from when we were in Abunar with the concubine's mansion. I am not an expert in shifting between metaphysical planes. Theoretically, it would be easier, but it would take time to study and would be risky. I do not know how it would work. I do not think that we would find a manifestation zone or a gate in the same way that we might from the material realm to a metaphysical realm. But that is just hypothesis. I have not I know a lot about this realm theoretically, but that is different to the experience of casting and preparing magics within it. On a somewhat different note, Free Smolder, Your weapon. Is it... And it's like common in this realm? If we encounter your people, would they likely all be equipped with such things?
Not all, no. This is my own creation. Based on existing weaponry, but modified for my purpose.
That is somewhat reassuring, I suppose. I would not like to run into a group of soldiers wielding such weapons. I would put it that way.
Had we all had such weapons, maybe things would be different here.
Ashal just nods at that.
I don't know. Doesn't seem like, judging by the damage, it was something that could be affected with shots from a projectile.
The initial disaster, yes, but the after effects of the long shadows.
Yes.
He might have been able to rebuild rather than escape.
Well, let us not focus on what may have been. It's past now.
Very true.
Yes, we need to find a base of operations. We should make our way to the castle town.
My workshop will work for this.
We would not want to get accosted by another group of giant bats.
Are you sure? Are you sure you want to steal one of their souls and put it within a little jar for you to keep? You sure you don't want to look around, see what you can capture?
I can do that after we establish a base of operations. Besides, I do not think a giant bat soul will be very interesting, even if it is one that has lived its life in this realm.
Onwards.
Onwards.
You can start traveling towards the ruined city you see before you, over terrain very much different than you would find in the material plane. For one, the ground is a little squishy. It's stone, and yet there is a give to it, and a wetness. And every step, admittedly, only really one of you leaves heavy enough footsteps because
Ashal
Ashar
is just
floats.
floating.
So, and Oshun has bare feet as well, so you're the only one really dealing with this.
That horrible squelch when you went between the toes.
And exactly,
also,
there is a
she's got,
brackish...
yeah. She's got riding leggings, so it's gonna start seeping up her leggings.
You absolutely are suffering some umbral seepage.
No!
Like, every step into... Parts, it's not all the same material. It's actually different to the material plane, which is all, like, the stone was, like, carved by this umbral explosion. No, it's, like, some of it is more stone, some of it's more soil, but all of it, like, you step, and, like, your foot gives, and then this dark, thick liquid kind of rises up. And you see areas where that kind of pools as well. Literal little pools and streams of just darkness. Just shadow. In some places, it's dripping upwards into the sky where it becomes no longer visible. In some places there is mist, in some places there's cloud, maybe even something that kinda looks like a plant trying to grow occasionally. This world is not lifeless, it's life lacking. It's almost like a desert.
What happens if I try and catch some of the shadow stuff in a vial? Like the stuff that's like
there is a repeating enough drip that you can just get it.
I was imagining a shell flying to one side, flying to another side.
No, it's very much like someone's left the tap on. And I said it because my tap's broken. It's just like a steady stream of darkness going up. And when it goes far enough up, you imagine it kind of disperses. But you can just take a bit of it.
Is your tab. The water's just going upwards to the ceiling.
It's a very old house.
Once belonged to a witch.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. I need to sleep.
Well, you need to get into the city at a long rest unless you want to try and camp out here. I will say, the features you're seeing, of course, you only really see once. You know, Ocean can see with dark vision still works, right? So you can see 120 feet ahead of you, but then there's nothing. And then there's a Charles bubble of, what, 20 feet of pure light that everyone can see in properly. And you really are traveling with an orb of light because the dim light doesn't go. It's very much when Gandalf is casting the light spell in Desolation of Smaug.
Yeah.
It's very much that. It's just warm firelight. So you can't see the features around you other than this city, which even then, the embers are moving. And you're only really seeing the higher parts of it near the embers, where there are two areas at the highest point of this castle cathedral city where embers are flowing in to one kind of tower. So you can see everything around there. But you do notice watchtowers in the same places where those Sonic towers were in the material plane. There are very much medieval on stone stilt towers with kind of like pitched roofs and ladders and things. They are empty, other than the remains of actually fell walkers, mostly. But if you did want to try and make a shelter somewhere on the move, that could be a good location. Or do you want to keep just heading towards the city?
Probably towards the city, yeah. Unless it's taking far too long, basically.
It's not too long. It's long. It's not too long. You would be tired. And
Not particularly.
Does anybody?
I think you need healing, Zoe. Yeah, you are the most injured. I'm just checking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Prismod is barely scratched. Dreya is in the other realm of existence. Lloyd is assumedly still with Oshun. You haven't checked.
Oh shit. Yeah. Lloyd. Wasn't really
14 points.
14? That's pretty good.
Oh. Is that 14?
High level cast and 6 plus 8, yeah.
6 plus 8. My face.
Yeah.
Okay. You can travel further towards this city. Like I said, it's very what you'd imagine a medieval castle to look like. As you approach, you see these big flagstones, mostly quite pale. Though as it's where it's lower and kind of touches the ground, there is the seepage of darkness. And even like kind of vines of shadow that crawl up. But it's not just stone bricks. There are metal bandings forged into the stone, almost as if the castle itself is wearing a steel-forged corset. There are also these pipes, almost, but they're made of individual rings welded together. It still speaks of being kind of unworldly to the rest of you, other than Freesmolder, who, of course, this is home. The things that Freesmolder would notice would be the vast gaping gashes in the walls, some delivered directly by the long shadows still kind of burning with this pinkish light that you have the very same scars. And as you approach the entranceway to the city, yeah, there's the Premier Inn. On the bypass.
There's the little chefs.
It's funny because I was actually gonna say, any other settlement you've ever been to, when you're on this kind of approach, there would be shops. There would be taverns. There is nothing. There is not... This is not a settlement that was ever open for business. There is a gate area that is completely blown apart. You know, you walk in through the rubble, and the rubble both above and below the rubble is what at first looks like cooled magma. But upon closer examination, as you get close with the torch, you can't really work it out in dim light. It's bodies. It's hundreds of vestiges. The same race as Free Smolder. Their black, chitinous bodies kind of just pressed together, making almost a smooth surface. Because, yeah, your souls will move on, but your bodies basically don't deteriorate after death, being like chitinous exosuits, unless you're eaten by something, and these bodies are kind of too drained of anything to even be eaten. Like, so there's just kind of this entranceway to the city with these, they're not even reaching out, they're just these bodies splayed all around. Occasionally you can see some of the almost mask-like faces. Usually they're a little more pale, like Free Smolders, or have markings. All of them are a similar size and shape to Free Smolder. They're all vaguely human-like in their sizings. Anything any of you would like to do as you head on inside?
Are you alright, Free Smolder? Have you seen this before?
I have seen this many times. They are dead. Nothing can be done for them.
Are you alright, though?
And Free Smolder kind of cocks their head and
Yes, this is just how things are.
Deeply upsetting.
Especially upsetting for you, who has no shoes,
No!
and is stepping on these bodies, which are less squishy. Well, these bodies are less squishy than the ground.
Oh, crunch.
Yeah.
I'm having a Gimli moment. Just stepping on all of the bones.
I was going to say that moment in I think it's the extended edition of Return of the King, where they're walking and they suddenly realize they're walking on skulls.
Crunch.
Kinda.
I don't think I have. There's a Grave Cleric spell that I really, really want, and it may just have been flavor text from Critical Role, but I want to decompose.
Decompose is a custom spell. Yeah, that's not a.
Ooh.
That is a custom spell, but you do have Blight. Blight is specifically meant to be single target, but what Blight does...
are now one!
But what Blight does is decompose, which is why if Matt Mercer made that a custom spell, it makes sense, because Blight is already that, it's just single target. So I would allow you to basically spend a usage of that spell, which is a 4th level spell, and, you know, maybe take a 10-minute ritual time to cast it here. I would totally allow that if you'd want to.
Free Smolder, do you mind? I can release them from this form of death and hurry them into something like what you described before, that beings are supposed to end up as in this realm.
Their essence has already left them. What you do with the bodies is up to you.
Start shoveling it into my mouth.
God fucking... That's actually a note. Not for Ocean. Ashal, you are starting to really feel psionic hunger pains.
Oh no.
It's been
shit,
a
how do I feed?
long time since you've eaten. It's one of these things you think about as Ocean is doing this ritual, because it's like, this is new magic for you as well, but it's like, you know, it's the concept, and also you're in this realm. You know, you pace around this area, you place your hands upon some of these bodies, and slowly the very essence of this plane starts to kind of retake them and almost start dissolving the chitinous bodies of all of these vestiges away. Over the 10-minute period, there is not really much left of them, but there are a lot more dead in the city. You did clear, I don't even know what the term is for this. Return to the earth, these guys. You mulched them. You mulched these guys, this, like, group of 200 or so, which is it's a feat. But there's a lot more dead in this silent place. You clear this kind of gatehouse entry gangway area.
She's probably tired, just sort of flips back a curl of hair and says,
As Charles is not saying anything at the moment, but does check their possessions, has 2 brain rations left over, but that's it. And that's a little bit, like, unsatisfying. And as Charles is very conscious of the fact that who knows when Menet's going to get the chance to feed, but at the moment, isn't going to mention it. Because as Charles is not prone to bringing that up.
that's between you and your therapist.
Oshun is his therapist.
No, it's a conflict of interest.
You can keep moving through the city. It's not non-Euclidean, but it's actually very similar to the Dwarven city in a way, in that there are areas where things are very compact and areas where things are very open, and you can't quite work out why. This is a city made by insects. You know, the priorities are kind of a little different. There is no sign of any long shadows haunting the streets right now, Free Smolder, but there are, essentially, you know, markings kind of painted onto the walls in Umbral essence, in Umbral language as well. So the two of you that can read that will be able to see that a lot of the messages are continuing, but it's, you know, they cannot be destroyed. Is a lot of it, you know, just warning people who survived in the hidden away parts of the cities is like not to fight them, and also a new message you have not seen before: beware the wolf.
Oh. Smiling like a bastard.
This is new.
The wolf.
I do not know.
Do you have many wolves in your realm?
Up to you, I guess.
In all honesty, I do not know. A lot of my time was spent inside the city.
Okay.
Well, the fact that you know what a wolf is and that whoever wrote the message had a concept of a wolf suggests they are not non-existent in your realm. But
Good
that
point.
you recognize.
that is true. It is the word does not necessarily directly correlate.
It might not be a surface doge.
Can I check to see how old the message is?
Investigation
Can
check,
I-
I suppose.
Actually, if I just
Oh.
can I get off anything of law keeping?
Can you get off?
Can I get off? I mean, Ashal does get off on knowledge. So.
I didn't want to know that.
Apiosexual.
No. What you kind of get off it is the same message. Well, you'd actually get more. You get flashes of fear. This was sort of painted onto the wall very quickly by a escaping vestige, and you can hear the quick footsteps crunching on the corpses below, and a roar that is not from a wolf.
Oh shit.
Like, in their, like, mind, it's very present when they were writing this.
He's doing a Sherlock, like...
You could do an investigation. That is what lawkeeping is, yeah. You can do an investigation check to make sure the time.
Alright.
It would be a matter of maybe a week ago. Whereas the other marks, you know, this disaster happened like 9 years ago. Right? So there's very much the messages all over because there were people who tried to survive and tried to fight and tried to hide. And now there's just no one. But that message is kind of like a week or so old.
This message is very new. Only a week or so.
As Charles lowers their hand from using looking. Whatever that was, whatever it is not any wolf that we are familiar with. The being who scribed this message, admittedly, in the height of fear, their emotions would have influenced. Strong emotions will influence something like this. And it probably sounded worse to them than it actually was. But the interpretation of it, that is not a pleasant being. That is all I can surmise.
I'll try and find it.
If it was a long shadow, they would have described it as such. So this could be something different.
All the more incentive for us to be well rested and well fed and ready.
Agreed. We should keep moving.
How do you want to travel? Go ahead.
I was going to say, as we move, I would now be keeping an eye out for, like, large dent marks in the ground or walls that maybe a giant wolf.
Actually, so how do you want to travel? Do you want to stealth? Do you want to move carefully? Do you want to move quickly? What's the goal here? Because you know where you're going, Free Smolder.
Is it is it a relatively short distance or quite a long?
This is a large city.
It's a large city. I think we probably want to get there
Abandoned,
quicker.
Yeah.
We probably want to get there quickly
Otherwise
at this
we'll run
point.
out of
Yeah.
time.
If it
In
was
which case,
close, I'd suggest
perception with
stealth.
disadvantage, Ashal, as you
Oh, yeah.
move.
Could
You don't need to do
I
any checks. or
help?
anything.
Sort of keep an eye out along the way.
Yeah. In which
and
case,
then-
just one for neutral. It's like both of you are moving.
Yeah.
Like you're moving as possible, but you're kind of like keeping an eye out on things, pointing stuff out to each other.
Oh yes.
As you're moving. It's a natural 20. So, traveling through the city, especially quickly, it's hard. You're not doing stealth, you're doing the opposite. It's
shit.
hard to kind of, capture many of the, there's very little in a place of personal spaces. There's only that which for production and reverence. You do briefly pass a statue of a woman's head with these 5-pointed horns, almost like a crown coming out of her forehead, with very long hair. The face is more human, but there's almost like insectoid mandibles added to it to kind of make it more seem like a vestige statue, and things like that. There are finery and sculptures, and as you're traveling, you see all kinds of damage to the city. Not just that done from the long shadows, almost like whip marks, but just areas where pillars have given way and a whole structure have just fallen. The castle up ahead, whole wings of it have crumbled in on each other. The outer walls of this city are basically non-functional. There are so many holes in them, or areas where the rubble has fallen into so much as to make a ramp. It's no wonder that this city has died, because it can't defend itself anymore, not just from attacks from within, but also those from outside. As you're traveling, you see two things as you're approaching Free Smolder's old workshop. One higher up the streets, closer to the actual castle proper, you see a long, lanky, lingering shape. One of the long shadows, but it does not witness you. You'd not quite known what Free Smolder was describing before, but knew that they were the shadows of, specifically, the Dread Flayers around Ebamaro, and that seems quite clear. However, they are very stretched and strained. They are around 15 feet tall. They have, like, kind of no features other than just tendrils of darkness that kind of escape around them. Almost like some kind of fungal spore. And it just kind of shifts and moves in a way that a living creature doesn't. It's not hunting or patrolling. It's just moving. Again, almost like a spore, but it doesn't seem to be aware of your presence. And there's nowhere near as many of them as before you started your crusade, Free Smolder, which is you probably wouldn't have made it into the city if you hadn't been clearing out the long shadows outside the city and within these kind of areas. Everything you notice is an area actually very close to the workshop, where there's kind of a chunk of an outside wall. There's a big hole in the wall there, and another area, and there's kind of like a almost a toll booth, like where a small little guard station for like entering a part of the city. There are scratch marks. There are almost signs of explosions. There is scrape marks on the ground from claws, and there is fur and feathers on the ground.
Is it a griffin?
They're very dark, but very thick. The fur and feathers, kind of a greyish purple. Only a few, sort of things a creature would drop from a jostle.
Are they recognizably any creature I know?
Give me a nature check, I suppose. No. Other than clearly this would be a big creature. The specifics are beyond you right now.
May I attempt the same?
Yeah.
I love wacky waving little arm flaming tube man.
Yeah, the long shadows kind of are wacky inflatable tube men, but they're going to actually destroy everything.
Just like the wacky wavy inflatable arm flailing tube man.
If they had the chance. They've been the underclass for too long. Yeah, other than it being a large creature, the specifics are beyond the lot of you right now. Give me a history check, Free Smolder.
History.
Don't be 11. Oh.
Double it.
There is within the city a very close to your workshop. It's actually essentially in the same kind of like wing of the castle, just higher up, an observatory. They did not observe the stars nor the embers, but creatures in the world around outside the walls. The actual Highborn, who spent time there, wrote about creatures they saw. So that might be a good place to get some answers. With that in mind, you can acquire your workshop. And we'd be saying it's your workshop. This is space bug communism. It's not, privately owned or anything. But
Yeah.
it's kind of dipped into the ground. There'll be stairs outside, 2 sets of stairs. You can... Well, how do you want to enter it? There are these 2 big iron grate doors, which do have a little, like, look in, but it's from the other side to look outside.
I would say Free Smolder would it'd almost be like a spot entrance to post it next to the door and then push one open with the barrel of the arcane cannon, peek in. But,
It's
very slowly.
Yeah. And there's like the loud like groaning of metal. Like there's rollers, so it does move smoothly, but it's not quietly.
Yeah.
The inside of this workshop is empty, other than dust and grime and bodies. There's only around 2 here. And also a cooking spit set up over the actual forge fires. This is almost a... It's almost... Well, you know, they were cooking when they were alive.
No!
This is almost like a dwarven forge. It's very big areas where big amounts of molten metal were poured and went down these kind of chutes and to a big area where you take small amounts of it and shape it with all these sort of chunky tools. There's a lot less like dwarven grace, but there's a different kind of insectoid grace to it if these tools were not old and rusted, right? With 10 years of neglect. That said, there is a layer of... It's actually not really dust. It's kind of like ash from the fires and like iron dust and stuff, which iron dust is very dangerous as well. That's just built up. Because some people have operated the forge just while trying to survive or like trying to do small bits of it. These people are trying to use it as a cooking like thing for a bit. So it's a fairly comfortable large area. You might it's meant for many low-born vestiges to be working at the same time, each with enough room to actually make their crafts, whether it be weapons or tools. This is mostly, because it's a low-born crafts area, it's mostly like you're just smelting either straight up ingots, and there would be like an ingot smelter and molds there, or like very basic things. Fine craft weapons and things is usually a highborn task. That's why you kind of have bucked the trend by making a weapon of your own design. But yeah, it's a quite comfortable place to make a base, because there's also only those 2 doors, a warehouse entrance, and vents, Gregory, that go, you know, let the smoke out.
Are there any whetstones around?
Yeah, there would be like one of those like weapon or tool sharpening wheels. And also like an area of the wall for like, because most of these are fit to tools, and like fixing the tools, and also kind of oils to bathe materials in to help them gather their strength. Because it wasn't just ironwork happening here. Yeah, that's if you want to take some dedicated time while during a rest, that could be a thing.
Yeah, I want to do that.
So you can close yourself up in on here. And what is it you guys want to do?
Sleep.
As Charlotte's going to eat a brain ration.
I want to know what free smaller feels.
Looks, you know, you take the thing out of the jar. It looks like a brain with an eye in it and some kind of tendrils. It's like, and this is like you eat it physically, which is quite rare for a Charl.
Ian feels bad. It was a little cute brain with an eyeball.
No,
And one of the typical things as well with the Ebamari is once you actually start the eating, it's ravenous. It's the actual like physical eating of brains is it's sinful. It's disgusting. But it's like a carnal need once you start doing
and then you
it.
suck in the last tentacle like.
It's drinking it like pickle juice out the jar.
Oh, you gotta drink the brine. Yeah, absolutely. There's psionic energy in that brine.
You would definitely pick up on how hungry as Charles had been, but just like when finishes, and it's just like
Burp.
sort of heavy breathing after you've like, you know, when you're so parched and you dash down like a pint of a drink or something, and then you have to breathe heavily for a few seconds.
Every night.
Ocean's gonna pause and like whetstoning the knife and just be like, Ashal, are you alright?
I'm fine now, yes.
Oh. Are you sure?
Yes, do not worry.
Well, you know I'm going to worry a little bit now, because you told me not to worry.
Ashal will like go silent for a few seconds, but you can tell like that they're pondering, and then we'll say, "It occurred to me on the way here. Feeding is going to be difficult. I do not know whether beings from this realm would be able to sustain me.
I wonder if you might be able to gather some kind of nutrition from your new appendage. It's differently made up to the rest of you, isn't it? Could you absorb energy from it?
I have been working on theory of absorbing the power from the various infernal soul gems I have. I might be able to. It's a different type of energy. That is the problem. I'll have to contemplate it more. Perhaps merely being in this realm, I might be able to garner some sustenance from something here. Perhaps the embers, or perhaps the shadow stuff itself. I do not know.
Well, we're here for you, Ashal.
Ashal will just nod at that. I do have something else to do, but it's specifically related to sleeping. So if anyone has anything else to do, speak now before we go to sleep.
Or forever hold your peace. Okay,
No,
everyone else
I can
starts
go.
heading to sleep.
Ashal has been working on a theory.
Oh, Lord.
Or so not really a theory, but so Ashal is hypothesizing that like the effects that this realm has on us is probably going to be a magnitude greater when we are asleep because our minds are unguarded. Ashal also has the locket from Zahal, which has responded to telepathy. Now, Ashal doesn't really know how it would work, but hypothesizing that might be some sort of way of secluding the mind away from in a different sort of area in some sense. If Ashal attempts to like join telepathically with the locket and then sleep, Ashal is hypothesizing that this might offer some protection from the effects of this realm. Possibly not the best time to be first interacting with this locket in such a way, but at the same time, when it's a chronomancy, when is the right time?
It's always the right time.
It's always
Exactly.
time for chronomancy.
Exactly.
Okay. Give me an intelligence check.
It could be worse.
At first, it's just very difficult to actually mentally interface with a pocket watch. While there is something strange about it, you don't know what exactly it is or why yet. You are understanding chronomancy. You are understanding the concepts of it, using arcane magic to manipulate time itself. You understand the theory. Though not really started practicing spells or even worked out ways to maybe use your sorcery in that sort of way. That hasn't quite forged yet. You can sort of kind of interface a little bit, and what you feel is a gentle calm within the pocket watch. Strangely, I guess, for it being made by Zahal. But, like, if it were a mind speaking back to you when you do this, and you're kind of almost trying to nestle your mind into it, it's a calm place to be, I guess. It's hard to describe. But you're not really able to properly do this tonight.
Okay.
There's more
But it's
practice.
something that Azshao can potentially work on over time while they're
Mm.
here.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
And I think with that, as everyone takes a little nap, it's time for a break. Probably be a good few minutes. I'm going to make a coffee. So we'll see you in a bit.
sudden thought. Like, of course we're not. Well, of course I'm not muted. Otherwise, how are we having a conversation?
Telepathy.
Welcome back to Ian's little mistakes. Sure.
Ian's existential crises.
Are we gonna get a Netflix adaptation? So,
Yes.
you have
one of
had
those
a long rest. Well, you know, it is. It is one of those days. I don't want it to be, but it is. And sometimes you gotta lean in, but I don't want to lean in. I feel like if I'm gonna lean in, I'm gonna fall. So, I am fighting back. I'm fighting back. You have had a long rest. You were not attacked in the night. This is a relatively safe place, and now you are here in Free Smolder's city. It is empty. You have seen a thing, and signs of another. Very much signs of a thing that is not a long shadow. I mean, it's left fur and feathers. It must be some kind of organic being. But no clue. I don't know what your plan is now that you're here in the city. So, now that you're here, safe, rested, gear sharpened and prepped, what is the plan moving forward?
We need to find our way to the top of the castle, and then a way back into the material realm.
I'm just preparing spells. I think Oshun would because I'm gonna check in. Oshun will ask, do you think I should attempt communion with a god? They might be able to point us in the right direction. The nearest exit.
There are worse options. I would. I imagine that would be a drain on your magical energy. I almost want to say.
Extraordinarily so.
I almost want to say, leave that until an evening after we have. I would suggest that at first we want to work out the lay of the land and what we might be facing, as it were. Free Smolder, I believe you mentioned that there was a repository of knowledge, an observatory nearby. I would suggest we try and find out what this wolf is from there. And yes, attempt to devise a path to the castle, to the highest point.
I'm assuming I would know relatively a way up there from where we are.
Yeah, there was a long shadow standing right over the entry stairwells. Here's the thing with vestiges. There is never two entrances to a place. It's just not really how things are done. So the start you'd make to go up into the castle proper, there's a long shadow there. If you were talking about the observatory, yeah, you could probably get up there without much issue. You'll have to break in. And it's a highborn building, so it's probably more.
So they're two separate ways, rather than one way up to castle and observatory. It's
the observatory is essentially 3 stories above where you are right now. Where you are right now, you got to remember this is a castle town. So there's a castle and then the town, all within the walls. You're essentially up against one section of the walls. So this observatory is above you. The castle, which you've been seeing all this time, with the embers flowing in, is that way. And then goes up and up and up. And then very well may be connecting ways you could take from the observatory round to the castle and loop up around the walls, and it might even be a step. But
okay. I have an idea. I'm gonna take my water skin and then just basically drink whatever's left in it. And then I'm gonna get a bunch of try to think. Because iron dust isn't quite explosive, but it'll
sparks.
probably it
sets up sparks.
I'm gonna like probably like have to take like the top off the water skin and like open it up more, scoop a bunch of the iron dust into there, and then I'm assuming there's probably some kind of fuel here as well that would be used for the forges.
Yeah, I think you guys are just coal driven, honestly. Mostly. Coal and petrified wood.
Okay, I would.
So yeah,
alright,
they would
so
be
then I
like
would-
basically fuel pellets. That are, There's not much left, because people have been running this forge over the 10 years and no one's been replenishing it, but yes.
Okay, I would take like one of the pellets. If it's not like, if it's too big, like, you know,
You
cut
just mush
down
it
or
up,
whatever,
mix it
like,
in.
Yeah, and like lodge it in. So there's, and then let's see, do I have anything? Hemp rope burns, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Hemp
cut a
does
little
burn, Ash. Hemp burns and smells
Yeah.
real good.
Real good. Cut a bit of it off and like put it in basically as a wick. And then once it's like all put together, if we need to get past the long shadow, we may be able to use this to... Wait, shit, I forgot the filter.
What's wrong with your voice, Chris?
What's happening? Wait, the iron
You
dust.
become a normie.
Should we need to get past the long shadow, we may be able to use this to distract it long enough to sneak by.
Excellent.
It is good to know. I must admit, I am, as they are an echo of Ebimari, I would love to be able to study them in some sort of fashion, or see if the magics I can use to trap souls would be effective. But if they have no presence in this realm beyond, they have no physical presence, I do not know if that would work, and it would be dangerous.
I mean, we are in the center of danger, my friend.
Well, I will, if we have to face one, even if it is only to flee, I might get an opportunity to test my... I am just wondering if my ability to interface psionically with things might prove more useful against them than the various methods you've no doubt tried to harm them. But
Your magic is something that, as far as I'm aware, we do not possess as a people.
that should probably be used only at the dire end of need, though. I would not, or either the dire end of need or in a controlled environment where we can flee easily. I would not want to rile them meaninglessly.
Agreed.
So, our first port of call is the observatory. If we have energy left at the end of the excursion, then you can try to commune with your god.
I would also like to send a message to Drea and Cinnabelle, the other one.
Again, something probably to do when we are sure we will not need the energy throughout the rest of the day, but
Exactly. I wish I had done it last night, but you know,
These knives
a
are
long
really
day.
sharp now.
these
They're
knives
so
are
sharp.
so
What? Feel how sharp they are, Ashal.
just insert and leave it there.
Then Ashal doesn't feel it because he's a withered old squidman. Yeah.
Hold my
It's like a
hand.
thingy. It's like in SpongeBob when Gary's like all old and withered, just like pokes his eye, and then like 6 seconds later, just this slow blink.
Yeah.
it was a long day. I believe that those long distance spells, messaging spells, are not
It's
guaranteed.
called texting, Ashal.
I believe that they are not guaranteed successful across planar
It's
boundaries.
Worth a try.
Oh, I agree.
Yes.
But I am also loath to ask a god for help with anything, but I will admit that They might be able to offer insights in this area.
Well then.
Observatory. I suggest that we move more slowly than we did getting here.
Yes.
Sneaky beaky.
Roll me some stealth rolls.
Sneaky Charlie.
The way into the observatory proves to be a high pass. As you examine the walkways up into the building, they have collapsed. This being around 20 feet up from where you're at right now. Now, that's not a flat 20 feet. There are, of course, the bones of the structure way, both metal and stone. There is rubble. There is roots. There is the other buildings. It's not a smooth, flat climb. But it is a climb, unless you have other ideas.
Do you have...
Ashal just looks at Ocean.
Who wants to be carried?
Ocean is 8 foot tall. Everyone else is like 4 or 5. You're still missing like 6 feet.
Hey, I'm like,
No, you
I'm
cannot
like
levitate on
6'7".
top of... How much of that is levitation?
None. I specifically
yeah.
said my height was 7'7".
I always
With
forget that
levitation, I'm
Ashal
like-
is tall. I always forget. In my mind,
With
Ashal is
levitation,
small.
I'm like 10 feet, 11 feet up. Now my intelligence mod is +5.
So if you could stand on Ocean's head and levitate, that would get you all the way up. But unfortunately, this isn't like a janky old video game where you can stand on people's head.
I was more looking towards Ocean because of spider climb than
Spider
height.
That would be smart.
I do have a
Come on,
climber's
my
kit.
babies.
Sorry.
I do have a climber's kit and a block and tackle.
Climber's kit wouldn't actually be that useful here because what climber's kits do, mechanically, is stop you from falling more than 25 feet at once. And this is a 20-foot climb. Yeah, it's like the kit you use to like make the pitons and things. And the pit, this essentially already has pitons. It's just a matter of climbing it.
Well, Free Smolder will just start climbing.
Give me an athletics or acrobatics roll.
Let's go
I
with
choose
athletics.
acrobatics.
I'm going to poise to catch.
No, this is not this is not a difficult climb, really. You can, as you do, you know. This city is silent, right? You almost want me to be like, oh, it's creaking. You can hear the groan. No, it's silent. Other than okay, Free Smolder starts climbing and the rock dust starts to move, and then you hear it, and you hear it really loud. Shouldn't you start climbing up before Free Smolder has opened the doorway on the other side, which is locked? So, like, you can climb up there, Free Smolder, and there's, like, a tiny
Ocean
little
was
step.
Just really excited to see what it's like for other people.
And there is a highborn doorway. You know, it has probably copper. It's made of copper. There is artistry on it of kind of like stars and things. It's an observatory, and that's not looking at the stars. And it is notably locked. You can kind of see the lock mechanism in the door and almost some of it like through the glass panels as well.
Before attempting to climb, can Ashal look very closely at the positioning of the debris and stuff, work out where they could potentially float above and bits? Basically, what I want to make a perception or investigation to make my climb easier. Is my thought process.
Yes. Yeah. Investigation. First, you gotta open that door, otherwise there's nowhere to climb to. Luckily, Ocean rolled high enough to be like, how are you doing? You know, you can just kind of be hanging out up there, but there's
I
not...
don't sound like that.
You do when I'm mad at...
The spider's not for turning.
Free Smolder's the only one at the door. Well, actually, Ocean is close enough to do stuff with the door if you want. I just don't know if you have anything you can do with it.
Free Smolder, is there a keyhole?
I imagine there is a keyhole.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Is it one that you can see through?
No. You just see mechanism.
Fair.
There is a glass panel in the door, though. There's like a
There's a
little
glass panel in the door.
star-shaped glass panel, yeah.
Can I see through it from
Not
where
down
I am?
here, no.
Okay. Are you able to see into the building? Yes.
Take a peek. See? Can I see?
Yeah, you can
inside?
see through. It's a very dirty old window, but you can see inside. You don't
If you
really
get
see
me
anything.
up there, I have a way in.
Is it acid?
No.
Oh.
I am going to. I do not know if. I assume Free Smolder will move aside in some way that,
Yeah.
because so that I can get up there and see in.
Mm-hmm.
You can
Acrobatics
stand
check.
Your roll was so good, and this is not a difficult climb, that yes, you can work out where is the most sensible places to put your weight, where you can kind of step, hover, into the right sort of position, and then like pull yourself up on the ledge. It's still a bit of work and it's slow, but
Yeah. Ashal will look in through the window, and then the shadows around them that sort of pull around their feet a lot of the time sort of reach up and start encompassing them. And Ashal sort of sinks down into the shadows as I cast my new spell and just other side of the door.
Misty step. do 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 do. Yes.
That's pretty cool.
You can go anywhere you see. You can apparate. Hey, that is a racial spell if you play as an Arvarai. You can just do that.
Yep.
Whenever the fuck you want.
I'm sure Oshun
Just
would be
appears
like,
out of the shadows on the other side of the door.
And then, yeah, there is
I
a
see.
kind of, like, twistable mechanism on the inside, and it goes... You can pull it open. Again, very big hunks of metal, these doors. This one more so, because this is where, not even rich people, important people would be. Highborn versus lowborn. As such, actually, the door is quite small. It's 4 foot high. But it is a square, so it's like a 4 foot square of a door. All the doors down below, quite big. Then 6 foot, maybe 7. This is like a 4 foot door. Probably would have been an important thing to describe beforehand, but I only realize now.
Ocean has to
and
crawl in.
you definitely have to crawl in, but because you're kind of
"Is
like
there a
already
bottle
crawling.
that says drink me?
Luckily, this is a fairly big chamber, but as you enter, it is a circular room because it's an observatory. Has to be circular. What are you thinking? With around the outside, very low kind of desks of copper and metal, like they are around like 2 feet high, right? This is a place made for. I mean, for you two's opinion, gnomes, right? Gnomes or something else small, like goblins. There is a the telescope, which is pointing outside the city and is cracked, unfortunately. You can still use it, but it's quite difficult. But there's kind of mechanical mechanisms and moving it, and also some of the mechanisms are just wheels and stilts. And then there are some books, some scrolls. This is a culture that kind of uses a little bit of both. And writing equipment and things like that. The ceiling pattern as well is kind of engraved copper of stars. As if you were looking up at them, but you're not, because you're in the Underrealm and the Shadow Realm at the same time. So you're not really seeing anything.
Free Smolder, are there gnomes among your people?
No, the highborn are of a different stature to lowborn, like myself.
Seems like if they were smaller, you could just punt them out of their position as highborn. Take their place.
But why? They are bred for their purpose, as I am.
Does highborn not imply certain benefits that lowborn people are not privy to simply because of a matter of birth?
Depending on your perspective, I suppose. But for my people, each is born into a role that we fulfill. My body is suited to work the forges and do labor. Highborn are more suited to cerebral tasks.
Well, I suppose the gnomes of our realm are more suited to cerebral tasks as well, on the whole.
Very easy to punt.
I would not know. If I tried to punt anything, I would probably end up with a shattered leg.
It would be worth it. I'd heal you.
You can, yeah. Lesser restoration.
Ashar will start looking through books and scrolls for mentions of the wolf. I will use law keeping to
Good idea.
help.
Mm-hmm. Give me an investigation with advantage.
There's a Ori journal, in Helm's Deep, where he's just like, big fuck off, wolf.
Well, it is that kind of thing because this is people bird watching, basically. This is highborn watching the world outside that they dare not go into. As such, it's actually quite difficult because it's quite hard to see outside in general. It requires a lot of tact, a lot of knowledge, and a lot of natural ability, but their tomes are quite well written. Unfortunately, they are not written in Umbral or Undercommon. They are written in mostly Umbral script. It's kind of a sharper Umbral script. It's a lot of sharp, almost tooth-shaped, fang-shaped patterns. As such, even with lore keeping, when you try to lore keep a language you don't comprehend, it's quite difficult. And it really slows you down. You only get kind of very base concepts, and the base concepts are a lot of the time that these are people chronicling animals and monsters, and you know that you're trying to look for something more specifically, but you don't even know what to reference against in your mind or in writing. And there's a lot of these scrolls and books, and it gets kind of frustrating.
Is it written in Vestigal?
Yeah, it's written in Vestigial, yeah.
Vestigial.
So you could do an investigation check without
Yeah.
issue.
Let's take a look. See.
You can at least read the books. It's a different kind of vestigial written for the highborn, of course. But, you can read, you can understand the concepts. Maybe some of the flowery language and descriptions are less so. What you find is that there is no description of wolves. You fought wolves in the other realm. There's no description of wolves or wolf-like entities in any of these books.
Anything with big feathers.
Give me another check. This is going to take time, but you're in a relatively safe place. One better.
It's better.
There are creatures with big feathers. Wyverns. And when you're examining, and when you find basically a whole area is the description of wyverns, you find a description of, because you were kind of going partly off the, four-legged tooth thing. No, this is a description of a wolf wyvern.
Ooh.
It is a wyvern that hunts on the ground, running around on its hind legs, and it has a big, toothy maw and a breastbone of fur and feathers, kind of a mane, hence kind of resembling the concept of a wolf, while being a wyvern. The descriptions is that it is a horrible, violent creature, right? It has a very powerful roar. It kind of hunts by echolocation. It makes a clicking sound from its tail. And its tail does have poison. While it does not fly, largely, it can make kind of enough flying leaps, especially while fighting, to be very hard to pin down. Can easily, like, there's records of like it's being attacked by some shield heads, and it like just kind of like makes a flying leap and kind of swoops around and then bites them in the back, right? And these things are essentially apex predators. Luckily, they're solitary, but they're also smart. You know, there are records here of quite clever hunting patterns, even using bait. They will even leave obvious signs of their presence in their territories. So, they are quite dangerous. There's even like the scholar who wrote this being like, they'd be interested in getting scales, feathers, teeth, they're getting the tails, getting, you know, all the monster hunter bits. You know, they're curious because this is a powerful creature. It's not super magical seeming, even in the Fel realm, but, you know, how does it roar so loudly? And the poison in its tail, you know, is the fur on its mane, could that be used for something? Like, all of those things, there's questions and concepts, and they have been seen in the area. And it seems, based on the signs you can see, so you can kind of see the area where you were, like from the edge of the observatory, right, where the telescope is mounted, you can kind of look outside. That looks like it would have been left by, like, the scars on the walls. A large wyvern with powerful roars could leave all of these injuries.
I think we found our creature.
Yes. Does the description mention it says it hunts via echolocation with its tail?
Yes.
Does it have a
appears so.
description of the sound that lets out?
Does it?
Nah, they're too far away. Sound doesn't travel that far. Which is part of the reason why this is a creature that's quite good at using the echolocation, because the clicking it noises travels pretty far. Has to be able to hear really well for that to work.
We keep an eye out for rhythmic, abrupt sound that may or may not echo.
Yes, certainly strange clicking sounds or the
In a
like.
dead city.
Yes, it should be pretty obvious theoretically. The only
And
I have something in mind that might be able to disrupt that echolocation, but it is probably something that is. If something is hunting us, it might be able to disrupt it, but I would not guarantee that.
What's our protocol? To freeze?
I would imagine that its echolocation. It's difficult to say. If we could freeze in such a way that it would not likely be able to see us, and that its echolocation might mistake us as part of something else, say a building, that might be an option. But it depends on how sophisticated it is. If the echolocation allows it to tell organic matter from inorganic matter, that would not work.
You're right.
We do not have enough information. But
Not to mention it might be able to just see us in the first place.
exactly, I would. Yes.
Yoshin's gonna look in the telescope, like bend down all the way to this like little nozzle.
You did.
Yeah.
It's trying to keep you on your toes.
I don't want to be on my toes. There's a big crack. And then there's the telescope.
Oh my god!
Because
I
Ocean
thought you
is
meant the
bending over.
sound. I thought you
Um,
meant there was a big cracking sound, and I was like, "It's happening!"
No, I meant there was a big crack in the lens of the telescope, but then I made a joke about Ocean's butt. But no, there's a big crack in the lens of the telescope, which means it's quite hard to see through. It's like you're seeing 3 separate places because the way the lens is kind of cracked, and it sees outside the city, but like nothing really. The scholars had to be very kind of had a really, you know, they had to learn how to see through this because you just kind of see darkness.
Can I cast mending on the telescope?
You'd have to get outside and hang on to the outside and slap the outside to do it, which is possible.
Okay, never mind then.
That. I have mending and spider climb. I mean, if you try to fix it, Ocean will probably be like, "Nah, ma, hold my baby."
Oh, realizing I'd have to go outside if Fritz was like, nah, not doing that.
Ocean's gonna spider climb up the
Sure.
telescope.
You're gonna have to.
Very quiet.
Yeah, you'd have to leave the front door. Give me a stealth check. Crawl around the outside, and then the mending is easy. You know, you put your hand upon the lens, and the glass starts to.
Wolf Withen makes a perception check.
No. Ah, woo, 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 woo.
Just a very distant.
Aw.
It turns out it's a puppy Wyvern. It's just a baby. Roll initiative. No,
Brain. Sorry?
I made a joke. Yeah, you mend the telescope absolutely fine. The glass cracks back into place. It is still pointing outside. The telescope, though, could, you know, this whole roof kind of rotates 360 degrees. You pull a certain lever. So you could move it to look wherever.
Ocean's
Within or
gonna,
without.
Yeah. The mechanism is from inside or outside to move it. Is it the poles, or is Ocean gonna have to like try and shove it?
Shoving it would probably just break it. It would all be inside. This is meant for like 3-foot tall nerd bugs. They cannot shove this thing around. And this doesn't even look like there's meant to be like a low cast, lowborn here to like operate things. It's all operated by the highborn. So yeah, there would just be like a big lever that you could just pull and twist the thing around if you wanted to look somewhere in particular through the telescope.
Scuttle back inside. Hang out on the ceiling.
It's more comfortable there because there's not much room.
Stretch legs. All of them.
Do we have anything else to do in this place?
I would like to keep an eye out for something that looks like an incredibly huge and taloned beast. We have a big telescope. Try and see this bastard.
Well, if we do that, make sure that moving the telescope is not going to cause an unheavenly creaking. Make sure those hinges are well oiled.
I don't like that smirk that Ollie had.
You knew it's gonna be loud. Charles right.
Yeah.
It's an old
Yeah.
copper. The entire roof of the building turning. You can see the gear wheels, and these are gear wheels made by gothic shadow bugs. You know, they got like big teeth and things that dig into the next one. Charles is right. This thing's gonna need to be lubed up.
I didn't think about any of this, but I mean,
This is why
I'm too
Ian's
used
here.
to Ollie getting me with things like that.
That's not even like an evil scheme. That's just like
No.
can I look around for science lube?
Can you give me an investigation check? These are nobles, and nobles do always need lubricant.
I will help you look
Thank
around
you.
for science lube.
Thank you. I have many eyes, but they are good for long distance seeing. Perception.
Investigation. I think.
Investigation. Or maybe it could be perception. Do you think? Oh, damn it. Okay, here goes. Eh. The answer is eh.
It doesn't really seem like there's much in the way of oils in this structure. There's like replacement gear wheels and replacement minute parts, but nothing that looks like it would be explicitly designed to repair the wheels.
Darn. Is there anything moist we carry around in our bags? You know what's moist? The rocks that we stepped on. The ground.
Yeah. Umbral essence, by its very nature, is a sludge. Sometimes more milky, sometimes more like milk that definitely should not be drunk anymore. Sometimes it's a little chunky.
Oh my god!
This
I
is
can't-
a moment.
I don't know where. No, actually, I do know where that came from.
Oh,
It came
where,
from
dude?
the concubine's basement.
Oh my
It's not science lube. It's
I-
lube
It's
lube.
actual lube.
I'm gonna spend a preparation point to cast Sudden Arcanum on the gear. I'm assuming I can see where all the gears are.
Oh yeah, it's visible.
So,
Yeah.
Oshun and Ashal having this discussion where Oshun's like, I have this idea, and Ashal's like, I have.
And Free Smolder is just
Right.
the Free Smolder, the
And then
inventor, is just fixing the problem.
Smolder's just like,
What are you gonna
use
cast?
Grease.
Yeah.
oh my god! Both of our characters just like,
So what does this look like as you tinker up some grease out of nothing?
There's probably like a Sudden Arcanum. I'm assuming I have like some kind of Actually, no. Okay, I'm assuming I can use like the crystal in the arcane cannon as like a focus for like casting.
Yeah,
magic,
sure.
Right.
That's
Okay,
probably
I'll
how
basically
your
remove it.
your magic quotes works.
Yeah, there's like a ching as like I remove it. It's the Garand thing, guaranteed.
Yes! I've already saved that sound on my computer for Rofi's arcane cannon, who's another character who had one. It had to be.
So good. So and then casting grease through it, I'm just gonna like walk around and basically just instead of having it as a big like pile, just a constant stream and just basically point the crystal between the gears and go around.
Hell yeah! You can lube up the science bits, freshly preparing them for abrupt motion.
give it one spank, just one.
This is not a dark elf machine. It does not need to be spanked to get it to work.
It's not full of pistons.
It's like
not full of
it's
piss.
The dark elf. You know how we like hammer on the top, like fist on the top of the TV to get it to work. The dark elf equivalent is spanking it.
This is why.
Asking if it likes that.
This is
Yes,
why
it's
the
stored in the
Dark
elves.
Elves had a court artificer and no one else did.
Oh my god.
It's like Warhammer, where it's like you have to do the ancient rites for machines, but it's just you gotta like do some foreplay to get them to go.
Consent. Gotta ask the machine.
Okay, yeah, you have the telescope's gears are lubed up.
All of our group recovers from what just happened.
We should be able to use this now without creating too much noise.
Who is the best observer? I've got 2 perception.
I do not have your eyes, but if it is difficult for the if this was difficult for the learned to see through, I might be the best option in terms of,
You know, that is an excellent point.
or Free Smolder, who is the most attuned to this realm.
We're gonna all have a go. I put the
Yeah, but
baby to the.
Who goes first? You put the baby to the eye of the machine, and the baby starts crying.
Oh no! I thought it was gonna nom it. Like
No, the
normal
baby
baby.
looks through and starts crying. Quite loudly, actually. And it's the big, like, like hitching loud breaths
Okay,
starting
oh,
to
shoot.
echo through the chamber.
No! Ocean's gonna be doing the soothing thing, like big movement.
Give me Give me a charisma check.
I shall, meanwhile, is going to look through a telescope to clarify whether the baby saw something it didn't like, or whether it was just the fact it was looking through a telescope.
You don't even need to make a roll, because as Ocean's like, oh no, it's fine. You look through and you see sprinting towards the building the wolf wyvern on its four legs. Its wings, like most wyverns, like crawl on the ground. This has its kind of wings out almost to its side around it, almost like a shield, and then it leaps. And it leaps onto the side of the observatory, right where you guys are. Right where there is small holes around the telescope. Let me put you guys on the map and ready you.
It's like that scene from Until Dawn where they're looking through like the binoculars and then the Wendigo is just like there.
Oh yeah.
It's absolutely, it's great. It's hilarious. I love it.
Made any sense. The rest of it made some sense, but it was like, what the heck is that even supposed to be?
It's the
It's
fact
just
that like it appeared and they're like, oh, that was weird.
That
We should
was
bang.
A scare, sure.
Well, we don't. That would be very Jarviskjir appropriate. We'll bang, okay? Ooh,
Oh my
shit.
god.
Oh,
That looks slightly terrifying.
yep.
boy.
Here you are
Boss.
in the observatory. Give me initiative rolls.
Oh,
You did
shit.
just barely avoid it getting a advantage surprise round by actually looking, but it also was. What's up?
I was gonna say I realized I hadn't recast Dark Vision on myself.
Oh, we could have said you did that.
Okay, cool.
It's like it's not set to your character. So, but I can give you dark
But
vision.
now I just remembered.
Half of yours.
Nice. Hey. Just like, what's going on? Oh yeah, puts the gate of the eyes.
Oh no.
Takes it off. I don't want to see it.
No, I will simply die. Again, the monster gets the highest initiative, which is great. So, let me describe the scene. You are here in the observatory, copper walls all around. There is the telescope. You're looking for a telescope. Outside the telescope, because this is kind of a janky old machine, there is like a gap, right? It's too small of a gap for the wyvern to get within, but this is a it's actually quite a chunky beast. It's not like a kind of snake-like wyvern like you might expect. It's kind of struggling to get inside. It's leapt onto the side of the building. It's like biting through the metal, and it is tilting. It's bending the copper because it's copper. Copper is the strongest metal in the world. The wolf wyvern will. The wolf wyvern.
Derek.
It is going to start just tearing through the wall.
No, science. Save
First
the
with its
books.
mouth, it's just like just crunching it apart, but letting the majority of the metal that it crunches away just fall to the ground.
Having that pee.
What?
He's shelling that pea.
I heard. I don't
China.
comprehend.
They're taking a pea out of a pod, or like.
I love
Yes,
pea.
they absolutely do. They kind of the telescope falls to the ground. It makes a big enough hole in the wall for it to kind of push through, and it will worm its way inside. It does have a long tail, but not long enough to give it reach. The tail kind of has on the end of it this almost bell, almost rattle-shaped kind of... It's an instrument. Like, as it sways, it kind of clicks as it intakes air. And it will...
Like a rattlesnake.
It's like a rattlesnake, kind of. There's also these sharp barbs upon the tail, kind of like growing out of the scaled plates, because this all is just like evolved. And it will make an attack against the Shal. Shal, what's your armor class?
12.
Get to 13.
Of course it does.
Give me a Constitution save.
Oh no. Well, I'm half decent at those.
Didn't someone have cure poison?
Yeah,
Yeah, you.
the
I find it. Look at my spells and
It's protection from poison, not cure.
protection from.
so
believe
it's
it's
going
just
to be 12 bludgeoning damage from the tail. Then you're going to take half damage from the poison.
I'd already prepared it. Thank you, Pat.
So it would have been 13 poison damage, but that's going to be halved right now to 6.
Lovely.
So it's one of those things where it like gets inside, and as it gets inside, it skids and just twists, and the tail will just like hit you. But you take it. Yeah, it's also like
Taco Bell
smashing the
thing.
thing in the way. But you could kind of tell that like a lot of its energy was spent in getting in. It has a lot more damage it can do. Free Smolder.
All right, I'm gonna back up 10, 15, 20, get over here. I'm gonna spend a preparation point to do elemental overload, and then I am going to shoot at it. In the back of my mind is what Free Smolder's like, this is a lot of noise. It's probably gonna bring along shadows, so we should deal with this quick. Oh, come on.
It's a
Okay.
hit. It's trash damage, but you did do
Absolute-
elemental overload.
Yep, which was 3d6. Yeah.
Yeah.
So another
Okay.
11.
It's pretty good. It's one of those things where you hit, and this thing has tough scales, and the kind of bolt hits.
Sorry, that was a blood draw.
The bolt hits, and like it doesn't like pierce in very much, but the kind of like white fire like licks its face. It's like, and will kind of turn, but it takes the hit quite easily.
Oh no.
Oh, in canon.
Ashal.
Right, so Ashal, even as Ashal is being battered, Ashal takes note of the sound that the tail is making. I would like to cast Thaumaturgy, make the loudest equivalent sound I can behind it.
And we're in an enclosed space.
You are, but there's a big kind of hole it made in the wall. Give me a deception check.
Deception.
Yeah. That's pretty fucking good. That's pretty good. Luckily, there is a mechanic for this. And it just... There's one of those things where it's like... this creature kind of has ears. There's kind of these fins and things upon its head within the mane that you see like the kind of one kind of like... As it's like... It briefly seems to kind of almost turn that way before deciding that the meal in front of it is far more interesting right now. But you do kind of make it reveal its sensitive ear parts as it does that.
well, I could have done with something a bit more than that, but
Information is very important, Ian.
It is, but information is not as important.
Not going to protect you from 3 attacks next turn, yeah.
Exactly. And I don't really have anything else to do. That ends my turn. I can't risk an opportunity attack realistically.
Okay, you're holding close to the thing, and you can kind of even sense from the animal this is, because it's a smart animal, it was expecting you to run. Ocean.
Is it like one of those like scary creatures? Like, I love cheetahs, but it is scary that they are like programmed to chase you if you run.
Yeah, it's absolutely. It's absolutely programmed to chase creatures down and also ambush. And then lead them into a fight and then crunch them up.
I'm going to...
Bear in mind you have all your spells back other than the ones you cast the other day.
Yeah. Did I say
earlier morning.
I said... You distracted me and I said spirit cardigan.
It's a cardigan of spiders that unleash...
And
sure.
shoons on the ceiling, they're just going to like pour down.
Yes, that is of note. This is a fairly small chamber, so it doesn't help you a lot, but you are on the ceiling, which means it kind of would have to get under you to attack you. Other than your hair. It could eat your hair.
No, make a bun. Make a bun.
That's what you do with the bonus action. You're like, the hair's coming up.
I'm going to bonus actions. Shield of Faith the Shal.
Thank you.
Both spells are concentration. If you do that, you will end your Spirit Guardians.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Darn it. Darn.
Welcome to high level Cleric. You can only really do one thing at a time.
Yeah. Spirit Guardians is more...
Spirit Guardians, if you continue rolling as bullshit as you usually do, will do a ton of damage.
What is another...
You don't have many bonus action spells.
Concentration.
Yeah. Spiritual weapon is a bonus action.
Yeah, but isn't that spiritual weapon also concentration?
No,
It's
that's
not.
why
Spiritual weapon is
so
explicitly not concentration, yeah.
Okay, I summon my spiritual weapon.
And attack
Sure.
with it.
Can I?
Yeah.
You attack as it's summoned. It spins and fights. Fights. That is a hit. It's one of those things where this is a very quick moving creature. The spinning scythe you summon does do some damage, but not nearly as much as it probably should. That is going to be a failure on blood draw.
I need its brain.
I will if we can kill it.
Eat its brain, steal its soul. You're going to harvest it from this creature.
You're assuming I'm not going to die.
It's going to make a wisdom save. It's going to fail its wisdom save. Roll Spirit Guardians damage. At this point, you know, this is a creature that's used to just hunting down escaping vestiges, and it's fighting this resistance, not just but a magical resistance, and it kind of hunkers down, and the kind of fins around its body rise up out of the mane of fur and feathers, and it shows, like, there's a cunning in its eyes that form. And it's going to... Can it get close enough? It
Wait,
can.
I think I did the wrong thing.
Nope.
I forgot like what dice I roll for Spirit Guardians
No,
damage.
you got it right.
You did it.
Ah, okay.
It's
thought I
going
did it
to...
for some reason.
Almost maybe looking like it's going to run, or maybe not attack at all. It kind of slowly prowls around. As it does, it pushes the metal elements of this room, and they kind of bend against its massive weight and size. And as it moves around, it kind of gets close, and you can see it, you know, its eyes kind of looking at each one of you, again, with cunning, with intelligence. And then it lets out a massive roar. At first, roaring into the ground, and then kind of bringing its head up. And you can see the stagnant air of the Shadow Realm be forced all around. I'm going to need all of you to give me Constitution saving throws.
Oh, no.
Nice of it to give us a flanking though.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but that gave it, chance to hit all of you with essentially a
also
spell.
It's also blocking off the exit.
You could leap
It's
down
hard.
the hole.
Yeah, that's what I'm
made.
contemplating doing.
Can I make friends with this monster?
I'm gonna say no.
But I wanna.
Secondary
I'll
question,
find a
can you
battle.
turn this monster into a girlfriend?
Yep, exactly. That's the eternal mission. The philosophical question, the conundrum of our age.
Are you allowed to marry a wyvern?
What's that manga called? Monster Girl?
Monster Musume.
Is that
Yeah.
Well, there's a few similar.
Who hasn't? I haven't seen a free smolder Constitution save. You are also within range of this.
Oh, sorry.
Ooh!
Okay. With that 20, I could even say that you can maybe you take the agate that's kind of around your eyes and almost form it into earplugs very quickly and hunker down because the sonic force of this scream, this roar, is wild. You two, so you're going to take no effects to a free smolder. The other two, you are going to be stunned. Because you failed so badly. Which, basically, the roar just shakes your entire being. And then...
Hope the baby
a
doesn't-
clean 40 thunder damage.
Are
Rip.
you kidding?
Rip. Just instant rip.
Are you kidding me? Come on.
To be fair, if it hadn't already hit me, I would still be up. But
Frick.
Time
And
for
that's
gentle
all it
repose.
could do this turn. Yeah, you do not want to die in this realm, even if you're
No.
attuned to it. Next up is Free Smolder, and yeah, you could completely resist that strike. And it's one of those, it's such a forceful roar, especially in this realm. Time almost slows down for a moment as it's yelling, and you're kind of holding against the force of it, and the roar throws things around. You can see visibly, the kind of, I guess, glands in this thing's mouth kind of deflate after doing that. It kind of pants, but it's still got a lot of fight left in it.
you know the worst thing? If you heal me, it goes after you. So I can't do anything even if you heal me.
Yeah, but I've got Spirit Guardians up, so.
Yeah, but it's
I'm
still
still
gonna
doing attacks.
it's still gonna murder me.
What are you doing,
For my
Free
last
Smolder?
preparation, I'm gonna do another elemental overload and hit this thing. Come on.
Can you aim for a specific part? Like it's.
It's not really a mechanic.
Not really a mechanic, but sometimes I allow you to do bullshit. That is a non-effectual hit. It's one of those things where there's such a forceful bullet just off one of the kind of curved scales.
I feel like this is time for panic stations, but the only panic button I have is if I am alive to do something.
Yeah,
And-
yeah. Ashar, give me what free spot. Anything else you want to do? Moving might be an idea.
Yeah, I guess I just keep away from this. That's hold on. I was there. I'm gonna move 10, 20. To move there.
Okay. Ashar, give me a death save, please.
Well, it could have been worse. Could have been
All
worse.
is bad. Oshun. This creature just knocked out a Charlotte, and a Charlotte does not look good. You can palpably see the life fading due to the realm you are within. And unfortunately, Free Smolder's last hit was ineffectual. Creature is not bloodied. It has taken quite a bit of damage.
Is Toll the Dead loud?
To
Not
bell.
loud
It's
enough.
explicitly a loud bell.
Okay.
I doubt
But-
it's going to be louder than that scream, though, but that sonic boom.
Yeah, it just made a really loud noise.
It did, but it operates by like
Oh yeah, if you're
Hearing,
thinking the
like,
same
sensitive.
thing.
You are. It's got sensitive hearing, but it's also like actually looking at you right now. But if you
Yeah.
wanted to try and maybe hit its hearing, like maybe try and affect its ears, that is possible.
I have a panic button option if I can be up on my turn, and that's the problem. That
Yeah.
like
I have an idea as well.
Okay, everyone's got an idea. Let's.
Uh-oh. This is the finale of season 1. Everyone has ideas, but none of them work together. And they did not win the finale of season 1. What's the plan? What's the plan? What's the plan?
You have 0 hit points.
Yes.
To spare the dying isn't going to be useful because I mean, it would in the sense that I do not perma-die, but I won't be useful in the fight.
Yeah, it won't get a shell up. It's more useful to use a healing spell rather than like spending stuff on spare the dying. Although your spare the dying is long range, which means you might be able to do it something clever with it later, like if you're escaping or something. You could throw a shell out the window and like cast it on him or something.
I'm looking at life transference, but I don't even have any, and I
You don't
didn't
have
prepare
life,
that one
no.
anyway. So
Yeah, there's no point looking at it. Only Free Smolder can do bullshit with spells they haven't got prepared, but not you.
okay, I'm gonna do a level 4. Please be good.
It's something.
It's something.
And you heal too. So you heal that 7 as well. And so does the shell. So that is useful. Free Smolder is full health, so Free Smolder doesn't get anything. But it is a patch up.
Catch up.
So remember to heal that 7 as well on Ocean. You are still on the ground, but you are conscious. And anything else you'd like to do? Move, stay, bonus
Can I
action?
move my weapon to like take a swipe.
Yeah, you can. You can move it here.
Okie dokie. Yeah, I would like to swipe. Where?
Should just be able to click it again, I think.
There it is. It's at the bottom.
Always is. Always will be. That's really good! That's like, as it's, as you're kind of stepping back, casting a powerful healing prayer to kind of send your magic anywhere possible, the scythe can spin over and...
Can I aim for the bell? On
Not
its
now that
head?
you've rolled.
Damn
That's a
it.
before rolling thing, and you don't really have that much control of the spiritual weapon. It's one of those things I might let you do when you're, like, near it, because you could, like, hold it. But, spiritual weapon, especially this one, it's just spinning. It's just a spinning blade of death.
I like it.
I'm going to look at the positive of this. At least I'm getting the nat ones out.
You
on
didn't get the
blood
one on the
rolls rather
death
than anything
roll.
else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. In that moment, the wolf wyvern's like turns its head. It's swiped by this spectral blade, which doesn't leave a mark. The scales aren't broken, but then that area starts to bleed, and it kind of pulls itself away and kind of swings one of its wings down in that area. The tail clicks back and forth a few times. As it's kind of got its mouth open, you actually see Free Smolder, those glands in its mouth kind of puff back up already with energy. But it's not going to roar again yet. But you guys got very unlucky by it recharging that ability instantly. It is going to... First of all, make a wisdom save against Ocean's spellcasting. And is going to fail. So roll Spirit Guardians. And then it's going to just encroach on you. In fact... Are you still on the ceiling?
Yep.
It's going to run under you.
It's good damage again.
Getting quite well bitten. It's under you, and as it kind of goes under you, it skids and even like digs its claw into the ground, and then it's gonna snap at you. I'm not gonna use this dice because it's a spin down dice, and that feels like cheating. They got a crit.
Oh no!
I need to get more dice. You guys have. This is the one time a monster like does well, and it's a big one. Luckily, it rolled really badly. This is one of those things where it's like you weren't expecting to like skid under you in that way, and it bites the head. It is not fucking around, but it is one of those things. As maybe it isn't used to fighting creatures so big, and like your head is mostly hair. So it's going to be like kind of a glancing, raking hit. It's going to be 11 piercing damage. And then it's going to bite again.
I am going to cackle that.
Okay.
And back up. I can cackle it.
Thanks, mate.
It's going to fail its save, and that debuff from cackle as you kind of send this foul magic towards it, like gets that first bite off, and it's like, and it goes again, and it's just enough for it kind of like just ends up missing, and partly, you know, Ocean can kind of duck and move again as well. It's just enough to make it miss, but it is also enough to make it aware of you there, and it's going to actually, how much did it move?
25, I think.
Did move 25, so I actually can't get to a Shal yet this turn.
Okay.
Which unfortunately means the tail attack is going to be against Oshun. But like it's like one of those things where like it's like its eyes are focused on the Shal again, and as it's kind of starting to move the tail, we're like.
Two positive things. You have a better chance of dodging it with AC. Second, if I hadn't cackled one of them, you might be already taking a death roll failure.
Yeah.
It's just a miss, just like the cackle. You are pulling out some serious, you know, luck at this point. Remember, this creature is not yet bloodied, despite the damage being done to it. Free Smolder.
Okay, I'm gonna take out that bag of iron dust and everything that I made before. I'm gonna light it. I'm gonna hold onto it.
Oh, shit.
Shun, get a Jarl out of here. With me! And then thinking, I'm gonna shake it and try and draw the... Wait. I'm gonna shake it and try and draw the creature after me, and so it leaves the Jarl and Shun.
Give me a intimidation roll.
I'm not too good at intimidation, but...
I know. Oh! Well,
even
you're
with a
doing
sparkle bag, even like, you know, shaking it around, it's like, psh.
I will make a roll. Creature's definitely looking at you. Like it was going to attack a Shal, and now it kind of hunkers down, almost like a cat. It's staring at you, and it's staring at the sparkle bag. It's your invention.
Yeah.
You can call it what you want.
Yeah, I'm basically pulling a fucking Ian Malcolm from Jurassic Park with the flare.
You are doing a Jurassic Park, and this is a dinosaur, so I have to respect it. Yeah, you feel like you've kind of got this creature's curiosity. It's going to start moving in your direction, but it's still a little bit of time till then.
Laser on the wall.
Think.
I think that's it, yeah. As Shal, you're on the ground.
I'm pressing my own panic button.
Please, God, don't kill yourself.
I'm gonna eat the concubine soul gem.
Okay. Give me a charisma save.
Oh, does this make a Shal sexy? The bony way.
No. But
Jeff from Arcane looking ass.
it's one of those things, as you kind of shove the soul gem in your mouth, you kind of start realizing what you kind of. It's almost like it's helping you, and instead you just kind of sap the soul from the gem into your mind, and then the gem lands on the ground, smokes, and kind of crumbles in on itself. You are going to receive some temporary HP. You're also going to receive a warm voice in your head.
Yeah, I was expecting that.
Pretty cool.
As you are now partially possessed by the succubus, not, just kind of sharing your brain for a bit. It's fine. What could possibly go wrong?
Charles' voice changes.
Oh god, if I telepathically link with someone, are they going to hear the succubus as well?
Oh, she's gonna love that. Again, I need to get more dice. You know what, honestly, I was gonna give you 10 HP. The amount this rolls, it'll just be a heal. But it might just end up being a max heal. I'll roll it anyway, because I found the amount of dice I needed. Okay. This helps. 42 points of healing. As you are filled with hellfire from the deepest pit of hell, and I am not exaggerating, she is from the deepest pit of hell. This energy, I mean, your body's very used to filling with energy at this point. All of the veins in your body fill with bright red, and Charles does start rolling on the floor, laughing in a woman's voice.
That's hysterical.
But also
and
looks
very
very well. In fact, Charles' skin is looking more
Turgid.
supple and, well moisturized than ever before.
Such shea butter.
I'm not gonna lie, and you might have guessed this. I did want an excuse to do this at some point.
Charles needs more weird shit going on.
Exactly.
Yes.
I assume that takes my entire turn.
Yeah, it does. At some point, every, intelligent main character who's out for knowledge needs to get possessed. That has to happen. Ocean, what do you want to do?
What is
You've got
the temporary HP, by the way.
Oh, that was no.
no. I just did it as full healing instead.
Okie dokie. Well, Ocean's gonna be real confused. But it's
Bear in mind,
just
the
going
creature
to-
does seem slightly distracted by Free Smaller right now.
Yeah. Slap oneself and cure wounds at third, second.
You are on very low HP.
Third level. In the corner, Oshun just rolls a bunch of dice and it's like, no.
Ocean rolls a joint. Calms down.
Here it is.
Need it. She'd need it.
Oshun passes you the buff. Do you accept?
Ocean wouldn't be able to roll it. Ocean would have one edible and then be like,
The thing is, Oshun's a massive lady. Anything she has is going to be too big for everyone else. You just take it and you're like, oh.
is that your turn? Do you want to move? Do you want to do anything else?
Am I able to swipe with the...
Spiritual weapon, yeah, would be a bonus action.
Spiritual weapon, you could move it.
Okay. And then my spirit guardians also just keep
Do it.
nomming.
Yeah, they do it at the end of beginning of the next turn. Last turn. Next turn. Turn. Turn for turn.
You'd have advantage.
Would I have advantage?
No, because it's down and you're up, so it doesn't really. But it is a hit, and it is going to deal damage. And at this point, the creature is starting to look bloodied. It's kind of like you're not sure if it's working, but as it's kind of looking at Free Smolder, you just see deep blood start to drip from its mouth, staining the floor red, and it is going to... Doesn't have high movement speed. Because it kind of lumbers. It is going to swoop past you. It doesn't do opportunity when it's flying, so it kind of like flies and crunches onto the outside of the doorway. Basically pinning you inside the building, Free Smolder. As it leers down at you. Yeah, you're fighting an intelligent combatant that just is also a horrible, horrible wyvern. How does that affect your plan?
Well, I was going to run out the door and keep it to get it to run away, but the shell's also now fully peeled up, so I guess...
I think Ocean would have listened to you, reached for a shell starts laughing. It's like...
Ashtal starts laughing and yassifying on the ground.
Yeah.
Yes!
Yeah.
I need to remember what that succubus's name is now. I'll fucking remember.
Given that it...
That bitch.
That bitch in Dwarven.
That bitch.
That bee.
I don't want to risk an opportunity attack. So I... Oh, that's disadvantage.
Yeet the flammable.
Yeah, you are holding a
Into its
firebomb.
mouth.
Okay, I get... Yeah, I was hoping it... Okay, I guess I just lob it I'm assuming it's, like, peering in.
Yeah, because it kind of has to, like, pin itself on the outside of its wings, so it can't really be, like, completely in front of you. It's, like, inside. It's kind of the fur is at there, and it's kind of, like, bringing its neck around.
Oh, damn it, I'm out of preparation, otherwise I could have done this. Okay, I guess I just lob the water skin that's sparking and on fire just straight at it.
Can I?
Give me
I'm not a bard.
Yeah. Have you already just realized? How many episodes have we had?
But I want to help. I want to be like, go.
You're more a support,
Yes.
but useless.
A warm but useless press of moral support.
Give me a melee attack.
I guess I could just swing my dagger and use that?
Yeah. And what's your intelligence modifier?
3.
Okay. Roll 2d4 fire plus 3.
2 /R 2d4 plus 3.
Yeah.
Oh!
You throw this thing, and as you do, as it kind of hits the fur, it starts the sparks inside can no longer be contained, and it's just kind of this very brief firebomb, like flash fire, like it kind of burns and then starts singeing some of the mane and fur, and it lets out a sound as it recoils in pain, but it does not bring it down or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it's good.
While I'm probably still gonna have an opportunity attack against me, but while it's like recoiling, I'm gonna move away.
I'll give you disadvantage. You made this thing deliberately to do this kind of shit. Aren't you glad I let you have disadvantage? Yeah, it will be like, "Rawr," and it will snap after you, but it won't quite get there.
Well, looks like the plan has changed.
Speaking of, Ashal.
What's the foley of that laugh?
I don't know.
No, I would definitely be the laugh. I am the succubus here. I think we can all agree.
As Charles floats back up, and will sort of say in their mind, it's been a while.
Been a while.
I hope you can provide some assistance here.
There's no direct response, but you feel a sense of agreement, like a kind of merchantly deal has been made. It's like the feeling of a handshake at the end of a deal, but it's in your head.
Succubus.
Let's see if we can give this thing a taste of its own medicine.
It has good intelligence, and it rolled like shit. So it's going to take that damage, and it's going to be stunned as it's outside, and it being stunned makes it kind of like to drag like a foot lower. The claws in the stonework like create these massive drags and holes, so it's going to be stunned.
As Shal will actually say out loud, "Have a taste of your own medicine." I don't know if there's an echo on Ashal's voice, but
The succubus ads, bitch.
There is, as you are speaking, a low laughter echoing with you.
cool.
You are very much of two voices right now. You are possessed.
Very cool.
Ocean.
Shun's going to edge forwards to get him back in the bubble. Oh shit,
Okay.
I think I double clicked that.
That's fine. You've got more than enough movement to do.
Yeah, you move like 4.
Is he enough in the bubble?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just about in.
And how much range does my spiritual weapon have again?
Not enough. It only moves 20.
Yeah, it moves 4, so you could start moving it, but it'll. Where do you want to move it to?
Closer to the thing. Thank you. And I will. I might.
Dodge action, cure wounds.
Cure wounds
Retaliation?
would be a good idea, but I was like, I wonder if I should try Toll the Dead, or if I should just leave the damage to the baby spiders.
I mean, there's
I don't have great health.
the spiders are automatic. You might as well do something.
But damage or healing, that's
That's the question.
yeah.
It is bloodied.
It is
Guiding
bloodied
bolt.
and stunned. So guiding bolt would
It's
have
like a free
advantage.
Turn.
In that case,
Yeah.
I will do a guiding bolt.
Guiding bolt has advantage.
Hell yeah! And that
It's like the creature is suddenly it's like sliding down in front of the door, like bit by bit, as the roof metalwork kind of peels at its weight.
We're about to see a Sabriel level guiding bolt.
No. There is only one Sabriel.
nice.
For now. Unfortunately, it just crunches against the door frame.
That's
And
such a
you,
good damage roll as well. That's a pity.
Yeah. Ouch. God, that was nearly perfect damage.
It's like a tiny little, but it explodes.
The wolf
Shit.
within is stunned and cannot act this turn. Free Smolder.
Oh, but
Alright, Arcane
the
Cannon.
Spiritual Guardians.
The spiritual guardians do stuff. Yeah, give me a I
Is it
give.
advantage?
No,
Don't
you roll. It takes the damage.
Alright.
it
I'm saying
can't fight back.
I have advantage on the arcane.
No, it's no
cannon.
longer stunned. Oh, but guiding
okay.
bolt. No, but guiding bolt missed. So no, it's
Missed.
neutral.
That was a roller coaster. Why am I rolling 1 on my radiant damage?
It's a hit though. It is a hit. So
is a
even
hit
though
for
there's
9.
like you've been using all the magic up in your like kind of crystal that's powering it, so it hits. But it's mostly just the pellet. But the pellet does get into some of the like fleshier bits, like around the mouth or something. A shawl. Unless you want to move or
No.
shawl.
Give me your soul.
Is that
That's
canon?
crap damage. But yes, that is canon.
It is gonna fail. Good. But it is crap damage. But it does create a link, which is quite a difficult one because it's got a powerful creature. No, you can really feel it fighting.
As Charles would have scooped up the gem that had contained the succubus.
It has got a big hole in the middle of it now, like
Oh,
a
yeah,
kind
okay,
of
it's not
perfectly
usable.
circular hole.
Fair
It's
enough. Fair enough.
an interesting curio now rather than anything else.
Okay.
You
Fair
could
enough.
sell it to those moth people.
Yeah.
Ocean.
Meeple. Okay, it's gonna go forward closer again. The scythe is coming along.
It's coming, oh. It's coming.
And
Ocean
I'm
Scythe
gonna
is coming,
try
oh.
Again with the guiding bolt.
Sure, it would be neutral now. It wouldn't have advantage.
Yeah. Just making sure it's not on advantage. Honestly, I just want to see all of those dice go.
Yeah.
Come on!
I mean, I have been rolling a lot of high amounts of dice recently, but you've been rolling low attack rolls. So nothing is going to happen. It will make a saving throw at the start of its turn, and it will pass, and it will slide down the rubble. And then you hear it just...
damage, right?
It still takes half damage, so roll it. It push, and start flying.
It's fucking off.
No, I want it to die! I
Oh,
want to collect its organs like Monster Hunter.
well, it's still 9 damage.
Okay, what do you guys want to do next?
I want to take a pot shot at it.
You cannot see it, but if you have any spells that don't require sight... First, it's Free Smolder's turn, though.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do I?
You looking for it?
Yeah.
You don't see it. Where is it?
Oh god, does it float up?
I am gonna. I have a sneaking suspicion, so I'm gonna dash. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That would be a
Okay.
fall. You would take damage doing this.
Oh, right, of course, yeah.
Because of the
sorry,
doorway's been fallen in.
Right. Of course.
You
Okay,
can
so
stand
here-
there, though, which is kind of good enough for your plan.
Yeah, okay. I was just wondering if it had went up and was waiting above the door, ready to just...
No, you can see it, like,
Okay.
flying.
Well, I guess that's my turn.
Sure.
I still have a link to it in a sense with the essence trap.
You do, yeah.
Can I tell where it is?
No.
Roughly? No. Okay. Free Smolder, do you see it?
I do. It's. I like look. There, like point.
Kind of roughly where it is, sort of in relation.
Yeah.
Is it?
It's essentially behind the opening of the telescope.
That was my suspicion. 1, 2. There it is.
This telescope's on the ground at the moment. It's not really in the way. Difficult terrain to clamber over it, I guess. But I don't think you're going to do that.
I am going to. What am I going to do? What am I going to do?
What are you going to do? Huh? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Whew.
What do you mean?
I
I
am
want
going
big money, no
attempt-
whammies, no whammies.
I'm going to attempt. I'm just going to toll the dead. I think.
Okay.
Oh, good experiment.
It's going to pass that one.
Drat.
It's relatively wise. Anything else?
No.
Ocean! Wolverine has vanished from your sight.
I assume it's in the thing now. And I will also move the thingy along with me. And I will, because I can't see it, will also toll the dead. It's time I do more cantrips.
I think
You need to be able to see for Toll the Dead. Even though it's sound-based, it would be kind of cool if you didn't need to be able to see.
Yeah. Okay, wait. I have to keep track of where I came from again. Okay, I think I can move one forward. Can I see it now? Yes, I can.
Just
see it.
barely. Yeah.
Just barely. Just barely. Told it.
Just barely.
Just barely.
It is going to fail. It's going to take that damage. You see it as it's flying around. It kind of like... and kind of flinches in on itself and starts dropping and then opens up the wyvern wings and will push upwards. It will fail its wisdom save against your DC.
I don't know how everything fails against that DC so often.
It just does. It's
Yeah, it's
just
just
the
Spirit
rules. So go ahead and roll Spirit Guardians. It's pretty fucking good. It crunches down, like, on top of the telescope. It's wheezing. It's struggling. And it tenses up its body and is going to let out a roar. You two give me Constitution saving throws.
Oh, God,
Free Smolder, you are way too far away.
Well, I did better this time. Maybe I won't be stunned at least.
Constitution save, Ocean. Both of you pass. You've seen this before. You can kind of brace yourself. It's also very much telegraphing at this time because it's so slow and tired. You will take half damage, but you won't be stunned or even incapacitated. It would have been 29 damage. It's going to be half to 14 thunder damage each. And that's going to be its turn.
God, it must have rolled well the first time, or badly that time.
Both, it rolls a lot of dice. Both were kind of average. It's like 7d8. Which I think
Let's
can get a
take
lot
the
higher.
shot.
Take the shot.
Take the shot! It's a miss.
Ah, just off.
Just off?
I put my leveled up. I got thingy stats, so I put it into dexterity. So
No,
that extra plus
it
one.
knows you're a science nerd. You cannot roll well. It's like when I had a belt of giant strength on my wizard. I still couldn't hit shit in melee. I had a plus, like, 6 bonus. Charles.
Well, it's worked once. Let's try and mental spear it again. Oh, well, yeah, that's brilliant damage.
It completely resists. You even kind of feel its mind pushing into yours with a resounding no! And it kind of roars in your face, but it's just air and spittle at this point.
Ugh.
Stinky.
Oh shit, it smells of meat.
I'm gonna make a whack with my spiritual weapon.
Yes!
Finally in range. I didn't know I had to be nose to nose with it, but I should have assumed.
Better than ass to ass.
I'm going to aim for ear or
Ear, head, tail.
Guiding bolt would be a disadvantage.
oh I've moved back.
Yeah, we'll get an attack against you if you do that.
Fuck!
I'm
What
happy for you to do
about-
that.
I don't have
Inflict wounds is melee?
I do have inflict wounds. Oh no, I'm gonna do vampiric touch, please. Have I prepared?
a good idea.
vampiric
You have it
touch?
also prepared as a grave cleric, so yes.
I slap a bitch.
Yeah, but you never hit with Vampiric touch. And let the record be shown that I started saying that before it rolled, but you never hit with Vampiric touch, Zoe.
I know.
It's like one of those things where you're like, as it's roaring, you try and reach for it. Still do the roll with your spiritual weapon.
I rolled spiritual weapon. Oh no, I
Nope.
rolled spirit guardians. Okey-dokey. Why does it always ask me what level I want to do?
Where do you want to attack with this?
I want to attack ears or sack.
You can spin the scythe closer. It's finally close enough. Maybe even give it a bit of a push with your hand, and it will strike and cut off the ear frills on one side and then the other side, and the creature kind of even pulls its kind of wings over its head as it kind of staggers. It needs to make a save. It fails. It is stunned. Free Smolder. You're
Take the
actually it
shot!
takes Spirit Guardian damage next, but Free Smolder, do your
Yeah.
attack with advantage.
Spirit Guardians would go down from the
Mhm.
vampiric touch anyway. It's concentration.
Oh, true. Get out of here, Circle. Free Smolder,
So-
you have advantage.
Aim the arcane cannon. Does it look like it's about to die on like the next hit?
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
wheezing, it's bleeding,
I'm
its
gonna-
ears
okay.
have been cut off, and it's kind
Please
of
hit.
cradling them.
Like thing is like kneeling down, aiming.
Jackpot.
If you should have waited.
missed
Oh!
Yes! Yes! The bullet goes straight through the whole body with a ding at the end as it hits the bell in its tail. The whole creature like tenses and then a twitch goes all the way through the body and then it falls out of the hole it made and splats on the ground, thoroughly defeated. It only takes one, Quill. It only takes one good hit, turns out.
Is a 100 GP soul gem enough to hold that thing?
Yes.
Please?
Good.
Yay! You need to
Because
get
it
more
is a mere
this creature.
creature,
Yeah.
albeit a powerful one. It's not like a true dragon or anything.
Now I'm going to eat that to counteract the succubus.
And then you're going to
So
need to
I'm-
eat a spider to fight the fly.
Exactly.
And, yeah. As the creature falls to the ground with a wet thump. That's where we're going to end today's session.
Very small.
Very well done.
We've got to remember to harvest that shit.
Yeah, that could be the
Remember
start of
to get
next
out.
session. Well, you have already absorbed the soul, which is pretty useful, especially if you want to use it with enchanting, which is kind of you'd get the most out of that kind of stuff. But you know, you haven't really started attacking that kettle of beans yet. Let me get some less chaos music. A nice calming woodwind.
Now we just wait for the wacky wavy inflatable arm flailing tube men to converge.
It's never over. Not in the realm of shadows, it's not. But today's session is over. Thank you for joining us, of course. This show is supported by Patreon. You can support the show on Patreon. Why don't you guys talk a little bit about what you got going on, starting with the gun slinger of the hour, Quill.
Hey, I'm Voice Quills. I shitpost on YouTube. That's pretty much all I do. One of my videos recently took off, so you might have already seen it and not known it was me. What did I call it again?
I guess
Well,
I'll
just
die, I'll
fucking kill me
guess.
then.
Yeah, oh, that's it, yeah.
Well,
It really
just fucking
spoke
kill me again.
to the millennials
Yep.
deeply.
Which, sadly, the algorithm has abandoned it as I got hit with a age restriction and all that because it mentioned kill and had fucking in it, which not actual fucking. It didn't have that. It had the word fucking.
I gotta find your channel.
Which sadly means it's currently sitting on 967,000 views. So it has. Which was it was getting real close to 1 million, and then it was boom, and I appealed it, and they said no. So
Yeah, I get that one. I understand it.
yeah, I get it. I tried, but still, eventually it'll hit 1 million.
It was a good grab.
Yeah.
It was a good grab.
Damn.
Yeah, Quill is talented. Who knew we had a talented person on this show? Who knew?
Hey, come on.
You're kinda not welcome here.
All right, definitely check Quill's stuff out if you haven't already. I hardly recommend following Quill on Twitter because my Twitter feed is just improved by your Twitter feed. It just filters in. It's like, oh, that's a funny thing. Liked by Voice Quills all the time.
Yeah.
Every time. And half the time
It
I send
literally-
you
it's that-
things and you are the one who liked them.
Yeah, it's like that meme of like thinking like, no, you can't just retweet stuff. It ruins your engagement. Like, this is dope. My friend should see this.
I have-
Retweet.
I have started doing that now too, and it has ruined my engagement, but I'm enjoying Twitter a lot. By just sharing the dumb bullshit. So you definitely follow me on Twitter too if you want, I guess. Some people you shouldn't follow on Twitter because it's basically impossible is Ian and Zoe. You only have people here.
Yeah. I'm Ian. I'm in a lot of Jarviskjir stuff, generally playing some sort of chaotic spellcaster who does crazy stuff, like eating succubus souls.
Yeah, I'll have to
That's
work
fun.
out what's going on with that when we have some time to
I-
breathe.
I just love it. I love the chaos of like having another voice in my head.
Like as Charles
So
keeps
she's
adding
gonna have
new
to give
shit.
You sex ed.
um,
Mari are ace.
Yeah,
What?
it's gonna be a
You're
weird one.
Only gay in the village.
if you like this show, then check out. Well, I mean, either way, even if you don't like this show, you should check out Ollie's Patreon. I don't. And
If you
subscribe
hate me,
for-
you really get at my nerves by giving me $5 a month on Patreon.
exactly.
I would hate that.
And I mean, what you get access to all this other content to hate as well,
Yes.
like bunch of Monday games.
If you hate the show and the world, you need to listen to it all to
Exactly.
really like get on the hate train. You know, you
Exactly.
you gotta hate knowingly. Okay, in 2022, that's the goal.
Hatred. I write. Sometimes I write Jarviskjir stuff. It's pretty great. Working on some more things, and now that like I've sorted out my work schedule to be less dire, I have time to like exercise and write. So that's gonna start picking up again.
Nice. Definitely let me know when you're back in the full swing,
Yeah,
because we have a couple of cool fun things that
we do. We do.
will come out. And of course, Zoe is also the head writer for Schism, which is away for a while. It's back there. The game's back there.
It's gone
Actually, you can actually see it. You can see it right there.
Hi.
There it is. It's by my hat. I am also the creative director for Arcanist Entertainment. If you like board games, especially those, if you want to like board games but you find them kind of hard to get into, definitely hang around, because that's kind of our focus is helping people get into board games, and we will have projects coming out. We're working on stuff through this whole year, so that's going to be really good. Also, streams. The stream schedule is pretty much set. As we get more support, I might essentially unlock more stream times, which is kind of the way it's going to go. On Fridays, we do Homebrew at the moment. If we've got the energy, we're doing Pokemon at the moment. We've got Hitmonchan, I think, for this Friday, which actually someone in chat gave me a pretty good idea for. That's great. If you like all of that content, it's all findable. If you like the homebrew you see in this game, it's all findable as well. They fit role-playing based games as well. And there is the Saturday show, Jarviskjir Rock of the North, Saturday, 8 p.m. Quill is in that one too, playing a very different character. And that is a lot of game. That's like a bit more of a traditional D&D adventure, but still in this deep world with a lot of like role-playing moments. And they're still on a side quest. They've been on a side quest for like 4 weeks, because it's basically Skyrim at this point. And we might be streaming this Sunday as well. So just hang around, follow on Twitter, join the Discord, do all the things. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave now and say a little bit of a thank you to the Patreon supporters, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Killer.